There is another content creator focused charity scandal bubbling over like a pot of pasta right now. It's only been a matter of weeks since the last one with the Completionist and the Open Hand Foundation, with all of the shenanigans that have been going on there for the last decade that got brought to light thanks to Carl Jobst Mudahar spearheading all of that. And we didn't even get a refractory period. We were thrust into Season 2 immediately with yet another huge charity scandal situation in the space. And it's an organization that I'm sure all of you are at least familiar with by name. Soft Giving. Buckle your seatbelt because this is about to be a wild ride. Soft Giving, for a couple of years now, had been the go-to for charity fundraising streams that a lot of Twitch streamers have used. We're talking the Goliaths in the space. XQC, Hassan, OTK, the list goes on and on with people that have used Soft Giving to raise money from their community for a good cause. And there was a lot of really great events that were run that used Soft Giving, raised a lot of money for some amazing organizations, and it all seemed like blue skies, smooth sailing, sunshine, and rainbows. And then about a year ago, I recalled there was a bit of shit flinging in the direction of Soft Giving, and I can't quite remember what it was about, because it never really blew up, but there were quite a few creators that came forward saying that they're done working with Soft Giving, and I thought I remembered them shutting down. But that must have been like a Mandela effect thing, kind of like Berenstein versus Berenstain Bears, although that one is not a Mandela effect. That is a legitimate fact that there must have been some kind of multiversal collapse that shifted our timeline, because I know for damn sure it used to be Berenstein, not Stain. So something went truly awry in the space-time continuum. We're getting down a rabbit hole already. Don't wind me up on that topic. But anyway, I thought I remembered Soft Giving shutting down. Wasn't the case. It rebranded to something called Brandfluence and is still very much alive. But anyway, there was some controversy that happened with Soft Giving a year or so ago, and it died out very quickly. It just petered out like a little wet fart. But a brand new bombshell report came out from Jacob Wolf that blew the lid wide open on Soft Giving. And through the investigation, found that roughly 42% of all the money that was raised from 2020 to 2021 actually went to Soft Giving instead of the charity that it was meant for, and they never prominently disclosed that to donors. That is an outrageous amount to be scraping off the top here without letting anyone know that that's the case. They're basically treating it like investments in Soft Giving at that point as opposed to actual charitable services here. It's fucking foul. Now, since it wasn't prominently displayed to donors, streamers also didn't know that either, at least from all the streamers that have been outspoken about it. It seemed like they were also kept in the dark on that amount of money going to Soft Giving as opposed to the money they thought they were raising for the cause that they were supporting. That is absurd. 42% is not the industry standard, as shocking as that information might be to hear. There's no reason Soft Giving should be taking that much money, but they're basically just for profit. They're not actually there for the charity, they're there for the big fucking paycheck in their pocket, it seems. Allegedly. So let's strip this down to its birthday suit and weasel our way into its bare butt cheeks. What is Soft Giving? Soft Giving is fundamentally just a middleman in this equation. So let's say I wanted to do a fundraising stream right now for an organization that will help me get taller. It's a cutting-edge group that's looking for the most effective means in bioengineering and medicine to increase my height from 5'6" to 6 feet. So instead of having my community donate directly to that foundation, fucking pipsqueakpowerup.org or whatever, I would partner with Soft Giving to have my community donate through the Soft Giving campaign, and Soft Giving would take that money that they donated and transfer it to that organization. They would take it and basically just be this conduit for the money to flow through to the organization that the stream is supposed to support. There's nothing in there that would justify taking 42 fucking percent for that effort of taking the money here and putting it over there. You know, we're not taking Bikini Bottom and moving it over there. We are doing the simplest process ever. 42% is an outrage. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. And Soft Giving says that it gives you all the tools necessary to make the campaign as successful as it can be, but that's a bunch of hooey. There is nothing there that justifies that amount going to the administration costs or whatever fees that they're trying to say they incurred from doing that process. It's just ridiculous. To really highlight the anomaly of Soft Giving here, Jacob Wolf's report talks about its competitors like Tiltify and DonorDrive, which I think are two names a lot of you have also heard of. They're very popular as well. And I'm just going to read this to you. The process of donation funds passing through another charity before making their way to the intended destination is unusual. In the scenario where a third party manages the funds without the charity's oversight, there's far more likelihood of misuse and profiteering, said Zach Weigall, the CEO of Charity Gamers Outreach. On those services, charities sign up and pay a monthly or annual service fee to allow influencers to set up their campaigns. As part of that process, those charities authorize Tiltify and DonorDrive to assess a pre-agreed upon administration fee after a donation has been received. The money is never held by a third party. Tiltify and DonorDrive simply connect to the charity's Stripe, PayPal, Amazon Pay, or other payment accounts and deduct the administration fee. On top of its service fees, Tiltify, for example, charges anywhere from a 3.5 to 5% fee, according to its CEO, Michael Wasserman, making the sum of fees that cut into the total donation approximately 10% for most charities. So you are looking at an astronomical difference in terms of the percentage cut that soft giving takes as opposed to Tiltify. It's night and day. No matter how you spin it, this is a smell that smells smelly. Like shit from soft giving. A bunch of bullshit here. And we've only scratched the surface of Jacob Wolf's report. I highly recommend you check it out if you're curious about how deep this goes. Apparently, when he was trying to get some interviews and statements from soft giving, he instead faced a lawsuit that was issued to him. So apparently he was sent a letter written by the attorney representing Brandfluence, aka the new soft giving, I guess, that demanded they don't publish this piece. But then he said, we believe in investigative journalism and our First Amendment right to freedom of press. So Jacob Wolf ended up publishing it anyway, even amidst this lawsuit that he was issued. So big W move there, because I think this is important information. It is always extraordinarily scummy for anyone to take advantage of others' kindness. Charity fraud and charity scams, alleged charity fraud and charity scams here, are the lowest of the low that you can possibly sink. It is so exploitative and so just disgusting. Now let's take another peek behind the curtain here, because Jacob Wolf just made another report here 4 days ago with the new IRS tax records. And according to this, during 2022, soft giving raised more than $3.56 million in donations, according to the tax records filed by the Giving A Foundation, the pass-through nonprofit that soft giving partners with. Around 1.92 million of that ultimately went to the intended charities. Nearly 1.65 million, roughly 46% of that money went to soft giving in fundraising expenses, the tax records show. Soft giving, more like not giving, 46%? That is downright dirty barnacles. Allegedly. Or even, is it even allegedly if it's public tax filings? But allegedly, I'll just say it to be safe anyway, they seem to have their finger on the trigger of lawsuits. They seem to like to toss those puppies out willy-nilly. So might as well play it safe. Alleged. That's not okay. That's not good at all. Now, another thing that came out in Jacob Wolf's report is that soft giving would also pay streamers to do charity streams. That information isn't new, and it's not exclusive to soft giving. I saw a lot of people did talk about that, and it created a bunch of buzz, but that's actually a conversation that's been had even a few years back. There are sometimes events that are run that will pay a streamer to be the face of it and raise money for it, and that's always going to leave a sour taste in people's mouths, understandably so, because if you're a streamer or a content creator that's raising money for a charitable cause, the impression is that you're doing it from a genuine place of care and wanting to help, as opposed to it being some kind of paid brand partnership, because it doesn't seem that sincere anymore if you're getting paid to do it. In that case, why are you paying the content creator? You could just take that money that you're going to pay them and put it into the charity itself, you know what I mean? And if the content creator really does care, they run the charity stream with you, is how I would personally view it. I feel like doing paid charity streams is just never going to be a good look, but again, that's not something that's exclusive to soft giving or this report. That is something that's been in the industry occasionally for a long time now, unfortunately. That's also a debate that's been had a lot over the last few years since that information became more public knowledge with paid charity streams. I think one of the main arguments in support of that practice was people saying that without a content creator spearheading it and like taking charge of it, it wouldn't have as many eyes, thus wouldn't raise as much money for the charity. And I get that perspective, like that makes sense, but it's still just not really a good look to get paid to do a charity stream, because that money that you're getting paid could very easily just go to the charity as well. I just feel like when it comes to raising money for a good cause, it should come from a good place as opposed to like a transactional thing. But that's just my personal view on it. I don't think paid charity streams are a great thing. But anyway, back to soft giving and how much they take out of the cookie jar here. So, with all of this coming out from Jacob Wolf's report, a lot of streamers have been questioned by the communities wondering, well, how much did you know and how do you feel about this? And from everyone that's talked about it loosely so far, it seems that the common sentiment is they had no idea that soft giving operated this way. It seems like streamers were just as surprised to learn this as everybody else, because it wasn't something that was common knowledge that soft giving was taking this much behind the scenes. I think even the streamers that may have been paid to do campaigns probably also didn't know either, because I don't think soft giving would disclose that internally either, because they have to know how shitty of a thing that is, which is why they try and keep it this secret. Alleged secret. So that's kind of what I think. Asmongold on stream said that they're engaged in a lawsuit with soft giving over all of this, with this whole massive controversy and charity scandal. So I guess we'll have to wait to hear more information about how that goes and what the lawsuit will entail. But regardless, this is a situation where everybody loses, especially the donators who gave their hard-earned money to a cause they thought was great, and definitely is a good cause for most of these fundraisers, but were absolutely fucking scammed, alleged, scammed by soft giving by not properly disclosing how much money they were taking. It's a tragic thing to exploit people's kindness in that way, especially when it comes financially. You're not only just taking advantage of people's willingness to help others, you're taking their money on top of it too in this pursuit of trying to help others. It is as low as you can fucking get. So I wanted to just put this on everyone's radar here. I highly encourage you to read Jacob Wolf's report on this for a far more detailed breakdown of everything. I gave you like the bare bones cliff notes of all of it. It is some scummy shit. So just wanted to talk about this a little bit. I am very curious to see what other streamers will come out to talk about their experience with soft giving, if they choose to, or if this is going to be something that's mainly going to be fought with lawsuits behind the scenes, which is also entirely possible. But we'll just have to wait and see. But anyway, that's about it. See ya. Let's check out this Planet Earth 2 thing. Oh, it's Kira TV again. We watched his video on Dreamworld. How many fucking scam MMOs are there? Man, it's in full fucking swing. It's like giant crypto scams in games now, it seems. This puts Dreamworld to shame? No fucking chance. Unless this game is literally the creator goatseeing himself, I don't understand how it could be a bigger scam than Dreamworld.
Now, if you
alleged
told me
scam.
That there was now, Earth2.io is what we're talking about right now.
Cool
and
name.
This is like,
I like
I'm
the
not
Earth
sure
sequel
exactly.
thing.
We envisage a virtual digital world on a one-to-one scale with Earth.
I love it already. I'm in.
Where
Where can I
the
invest?
same location as Earth and is geographically linked to the world we live in.
Fuck it. I'm in. Sign me
So
up.
basically, if you don't know what they're saying here, this is what it is. Literally, it's just Google Maps, but you zoom in and they've gridded the whole world off. Like every inch of the world has been turned into a grid. Somebody can just go on and buy a picture of your house. This is basically like if I went into your garden and took pictures of everything on your garden and then logged online and sold those pictures and told people they own that.
So it's actually NFTs.
So it's mental.
It's an NFT scam.
Reading about like this is such a rabbit hole.
That is quite literally NFTs.
So many videos. Like, have you heard this before, guys?
What is all of this up here? Is this how, like, what is this $58.31 and it's up 58,000%? So I'm guessing this really is just like a giant NFT scam. That's what this is looking like to me. The selling of grid tiles? Holy fuck. Yeah, that's what I want to do. I want to own 5 plants somewhere in Iowa.
But also creating an amazing opportunity for yourself to make profit.
Oh, let's go!
Early. Get rich quick, guys. Don't miss out now. Get in early.
Easy money. It's free.
Right here.
I'm going to buy Elon Musk's house.
If you're still... The Earth 2 terrain engine is able to render the entire Earth with extreme detail and vegetation details not seen before in any
I believe it.
This, all with high performance...
Can I see it in action? Is that possible?
Hardware. And
the amount of power that would be required for that,
we haven't just taken
not even the fucking Tesseract from the Avengers would be able to power that.
To point B. But for some reason, people have seen this and gone, fuck yeah, bro, where do I sign up? Where do I give you my money?
Hold on, let me pause for a second. I want to see the website. How many people have bought into this? I've said this 100 times by now. This is the perfect day and age for scammers. It has never been so easy to scam people. It fucking takes a single tweet from like a 5-follower Twitter account and you'll have people buying into it. It is so easy to fucking scam people. Selling literal rocks out of a dumpster and calling them energy rocks and shit. It is an incredible time for scammers. I just want to see how many people have bought into this before continuing. Here's the leaderboards. Oh god, no. The number one guy, I don't know what this translates to USD. The number one guy here has $575,646 in it. Let's see, what is the exchange rate from a normal USD to an EUSD? Where is the exchange rate on here? About 1.2 million people have bought into it at the moment. Here, this seems fine. I'm just trying not to like show these people's information. Where do you see that 1.2 million people use this? Let me see their Twitter. This is a big project. I'm gonna scroll down. I'm gonna see my Council of Cock photo with the 2 Moby Huges and get banned like Mizkif. It is crazy. It is so fucking easy for people to get scammed. Well, no, so easy for scammers to scam people. People like to think they're so fucking smart and then they'll buy into a game that says they have one-to-one rendered the real world with more detail than you could ever imagine, with technology that our species can't even begin to comprehend. Fucking crazy. I just want to see the exchange from E-dollars to normal dollars. What am I looking at? These Beyblades, or is this like a flag? Oh, they're all flags. One dumb asshole over here owns a single piece of this highway. Who bought this? Oh, hold on, you can't even see it. Who bought this thing? Yeah, I want that one lane on that highway in the middle of fucking nowhere. Whoever this is should not be allowed to use money again. I just want to see the going rate. And then I'll go back to the video. Mountain View, California. Price per tile, $58. Available resources, fresh water, sand, limestone, iron ore, wood, coal, oil, and gold. What the fuck is this? Oh, I can actually see who owns it. Why? Fucking why? Chat keeps saying 1-to-1, but I don't believe that. I think they're getting confused because on the website, the scale is 1-to-1. So, like, they're claiming that they have 1-to-1 scaled the entire Earth in a game that doesn't have any loading screens, pop-ins, incredible detail, of vegetation, plants, and life. Like, I think they're getting confused with all the dog shit. This one, I believe, EUSD is about 33 cents. That sounds a little more reasonable. That's euros. Oh god, yeah, that sounds like Twitch chat. It's their own currency. So it's not fucking euros, Christ. Either way, dude's got fucking over 500,000 EUSDs invested into this game for no fucking reason. And it's not even, I don't know why I'm calling it a game. It is literally Google Earth, but they put a grid on it and are selling individual squares.
Who'd have guessed the man behind Earth 2 wouldn't be able to substantiate his 20-year professional history? His oldest online presence is of his LinkedIn profile, which has been online for only a few months. Kind of sketchy, right?
No, that sounds reasonable. The people who are getting scammed will never watch nor believe this video if they do find it.
People to at least check in on.
Everyone's too smart to be scammed until they give their credit card info to a guy on the phone. Says that their computer has a virus. And I've never heard of that select, but I can check it out. Is this... Sorry to pause again. So, Trayer made an account and says it's 1-to-1. So if you want to buy an EUSD, it is 1 USD. And then I saw other people in chat saying the same thing. Holy fuck, that's even more pathetic then. Oh my god. That's fucking wild. Imagine being the dumb asshole who put nearly 600 grand into a non-existent dogshit concept. Oh my god, I can't believe it. With old people who get telemarketer scammed, it's like, oh my god, you know, it almost makes sense. Like, they're kind of old, they don't know what the telephone is. But that guy, no doubt, he has like a high-paying job, big salary position. He's like, you know what, I've got the next big thing. Earth 2, I'm going to make a fortune selling my Fucking highway grid. Oh.
Easy money virtual real estate. Use my code down below. Like, this shit is disgusting, frankly.
My god, he has so many Earth 2 videos. What the fuck? Everything is an Earth 2 video. Holy shit. What do his comments say? These things are always so deep. I get so invested in this. Who is this? Matt Lorian. Most people are actually calling it out. They're just dropping like Xbox Live Arcade codes in the comment, so I don't really know what that's all about.
Do not put money into this. It's a scam. I've emailed them many times over 3 months and still haven't sent my withdrawal.
Yeah, most people can immediately recognize this as a scam, I would
before
think.
Going to, and which oftentimes will
Let me see
stop
that again.
working to actually. I think you actually.
Full legal name, address, account name, email, exact bank account, account number, phone number. Oh my god. How? How can there be a single person that has a bank account, first of all, that would be comfortable giving all of this to anything? I wouldn't give this to, like, my own fucking mom if she asked out of nowhere. How? Seeing this right away should tip you off, like, I should never fucking associate with this. Like, not only could they take all of your shit, or withhold all of your shit, they could take shit from you too. It could literally be identity theft. You are paving the way for it. I'm surprised they don't also ask for, like, security questions, like, what was your first dog, your mom's maiden name, and stuff like that. Just in case. Do they also need a blood sample? Yeah, if you scroll down, I bet. We also need to do a urinalysis.
The initial purchases are very, very cheap, but obviously they set the prices of the land. And obviously they...
I want to buy Area 51.
Thinking and looking
Can I own
they're
it?
making a bunch of money,
Then
and
visit?
they settle. We do not warrant the accuracy, adequacy, or completeness of the information on this website.
What does that even...
Nor do we undertake to keep this website updated.
Don't trust us.
It literally reads as the stuff on here, the pricing, like
it's all
who owns
garbage.
what, however, gamer groups, whatever it might be.
So what do we
family,
do
whoever
about it?
is, their grandmothers, etc., are going to be logging on Facebook and seeing
How do we
what's little
stop
Johnny
them?
talking about. So if you did enjoy this video,
Check
the way
the
that you let
subreddit.
me know is leave.
That is fascinating. I actually can't fucking believe how easily people get scammed these days. Wild. Fucking wild. That's literal no effort. In their own terms, they're like, we might just walk away. It's like, okay, fuck it, I'll put 600 grand in there. What's their subreddit? Let me check it out. Oh god, the subreddit's in denial. Oh boy. I'll just read you an excerpt. I am holding my tiles and I am not selling anytime soon. I believe in this project and I feel good when I see people think of this project as a scam because of their lack of research. It just shows you how this project is futuristic and it's out of their league. That gives all the first movers the advantage to jump in this market early before it gets saturated in the future. That makes me more excited than pissed off. Someone needs to get their dad off Reddit ASAP. This is bad. You should never be celebrating when the majority of people with like a 4th grade education recognize the shit you put money into as a scam. Don't get excited, get scared. Get your shit out and run. That is so fucking sad. I can't even be mad at someone like this because I know for a fact that they're probably very innocent. They've never played RuneScape, they've never been scammed, and they just refuse to believe it. So this video actually, or not this video, this John's video got posted, and the community was not excited. So this video got posted saying, Earth 2 with the biggest exposure yet, this is going to blow up big. Top comment, haters gonna hate. There's a post that mentions me. On this subreddit? Where? Well, now I just feel bad. And by that I mean, don't feel bad at all. The post is basically saying the devs need to release actual game footage immediately. I'm just going to go ahead and go out on a limb and say that'll never come. I can say with a high level of certainty, they probably don't really give a fuck about that. I don't think it's coming. Not to shit on Christmas for you. The top post is then saying, if I or Asmongold cover it at the state it's at right now, it'll forever cripple the project. They have to release something now, even if it's in a primitive state. I guess I mentioned here because I talked about Dreamworld. So I guess that's what they're referring to. But man, just pull out. I'm not your dad, but now I just feel bad reading that. Just get the fuck out. I know you're not like able to because it seems like they're not processing exits like payments you're due. but just try. It's so fucking sad. Like, I can't even really be mad at the people, man. I really can't. Like, reading these, they seem like nice people. Like, the people that have really committed to this and bought into this dream, they seem like friendly, nice people. Even these videos that are calling it a scam in their title, they're like, you know what, just let's respond calmly to this and talk about misinformation. And then they put $600,000 into this. Is it crypto, though? I didn't get that impression from Kira's video, and going on their website, it doesn't seem like crypto. You're paying 1-to-1. You are quite literally just taking a US dollar and paying for the shit in the game, and then you get a US dollar with an E in front of it. It doesn't really seem like crypto. Because it's not like an in-game currency, right? They pay you in USD and you just extract it? Or that's how it's supposed to work in theory, it just doesn't work? Yeah, I get it's treated like NFTs, basically. You're buying nothing. Literal fucking nothing. So is there any new information that we haven't covered? Because otherwise I think that's about it. It's definitely worse than I would have expected, to be honest. I think that one's a far more evil scandal than Dreamworld. Dreamworld was an ambitious project that never had a single fucking chance of being made, but at least they put something there, albeit dog shit. This is an actual just money grab. I'm currently involved in my biggest scandal yet, and I want to immediately just start trying to pour water on the flames here, so put your pitchforks down and let me explain. Just simmer down, alright? Hold your horses. As all of you know, today is 420, of course, weed day, whatever, but also, it's the purge on Twitter. The checkmark purge. Anyone that isn't subscribed to Twitter Blue has just had their checkmarks banished to the Shadow Realm. They're gone. The whole legacy checkmark system has been kaput. They've wiped their ass with it. Now that all is left is the embarrassing $8 a month being flushed right down the shitter for a useless service. Unless, of course, you're a business that's paying $1,000 a month for a gold checkmark or a politician who gets the gray one. The only blue checkmarks left are the Twitter Blue subscribers. And it's led to a lot of questions about me personally, because if you go to my Twitter, you'll notice something very yucky, very stinky. There's a bit of a blemish on my Twitter account. There's still a blue checkmark there. As my 4th grade English teacher used to say, honesty is the best policy, and man, this is a painful one. I don't have a checkmark because they let me be grandfathered in with like a legacy checkmark or anything like that. It's not like they allowed me to persist past the doomsday here. I wasn't some kind of crafty Neanderthal caveman who took shelter when the asteroid hit the Earth that took out the dinosaurs and I survived or anything. I have a checkmark because I subscribe to Twitter Blue. It is the most embarrassing thing I've ever done, and please, let me explain. I made a lot of content laughing at Twitter, and most importantly, laughing directly at the whole idea of paying money for a service as dog shit as Twitter. So, this leads to the natural question, why? With the way people have been tagging me, like, you know, with tears in their eyes, crying about, you know, why, Charlie, why have you forsaken us? Why do you still have the blue check mark? What went wrong? Like, it feels like I just fucking stole Christmas like the Grinch. So please allow me to explain, because I have a good reason, damn it. So, like I said, I've made a lot of videos talking about a lot of Twitter goofiness, and of course one of those topics was Twitter Blue as just an idea. Like, paying for Twitter is one of the stupidest things you could ever really do. It's like paying to have someone spit down your throat every day. It's a silly idea. But the reason I paid for it is because on stream, a couple of people brought up a good point. After they popped Elon Musk's wiener out of their mouth, they texted some shit in chat that actually made a lot of sense. They said, how can you criticize Twitter Blue if you're not going to use it? How can you know for sure that it's a terrible service with nothing redeeming about it if you yourself aren't going to engage with it? And I actually thought about that for a second, and it was like that fucking Onion article, like the guy everyone hates just made a really good point. And ultimately, I agreed with their perspective. I can't fully write off Twitter Blue if I don't actually know everything that's going on with it, since I wouldn't be using it. So probably about 2 months ago now, I took the plunge and made one of the most difficult decisions of my life. Like, this honestly felt like I was about to decide, you know, whether or not to pull a family member off life support or something. It was fucking painful, it was emotional. I was nearly like crying my eyes out about to part with $8 for fucking Twitter, an actual swamp cesspool of degeneracy. But I did it. I subscribed to Twitter Blue about 2 months ago, and that's when I learned the truth. My third eye was opened. I was fucking right. I could now wiggle my finger and say I told you so that Twitter Blue is useless because I was now using it and could confirm for sure that currently Twitter Blue is worthless. It offers nothing of value at all. It is just wasting money subscribing to Twitter Blue, at least in its current iteration. And all of the memes about like this motherfucker paid for Twitter, I think that's totally fair. I think that's super accurate. You deserve to be shamed if you're paying for something like Twitter Blue right now because there is no reason to. There is literally no reason to. It is literally a Boy Scout badge just to get bullied publicly and nothing else. You don't have access to any useful tools. You don't have access to any useful features. I'm going to go over everything you get with Twitter Blue right now so that you can see the full scope of just how meaningless it is. Maybe in the future there'll be some like implementations or changes that make it worthwhile. Elon Musk certainly seems to think so. He's constantly trying to drum a pipe for Twitter Blue, like pumping his fist saying like all of these incredible things are coming very soon, any day now. They're right around the corner. That's got to be the longest fucking street of all time if we still haven't got around that corner because there is still nothing on the horizon. It doesn't appear like anything's coming anytime soon right now. It's honestly just kind of sad. I feel like I'm eating alone at the lunch tables with all the other losers that have Twitter Blue right now. We're just the outcasts getting laughed at, and we absolutely deserve it. You know, this is like I threw a birthday party and nobody showed up except my parents, and they gave me like a little participation trophy here present with my fucking Twitter Blue checkmark. It's so embarrassing. Now let's go over what Twitter Blue offers. As a paying cuck of Twitter Blue, I have the ability to send out a tweet and then the option to undo it, immediately send it, or wait for this countdown to finish in order for the tweet to go through. This is, I guess, if I have a lot of immediate anxiety and regret after clicking tweet, I can undo it within a certain period of time. But let's say I want to let it rip, and it's up there. And I change my mind. Well, I have that coveted edit feature, where I can edit the tweet to change things around or add to it within the first 30 minutes of the tweet being live. Now, I'm sure all of you with your thinking caps on will immediately recognize why that feature's fucking worthless. Because it's Twitter. If you regret something, or you decide you don't really want it up, or if you want to add something to it, you can just delete the tweet. It's not that big of a deal. It's Twitter. It's instant to do that. There's no penalty for it. You don't have like a certain allotted amount of tweets that you're allowed to post. Like there's no quota. You can just tweet it, be like, that's kind of a stinker. Delete. No problems. Editing a tweet is fucking worthless unless you're trying to like prank your followers where everyone likes or retweets something really agreeable and then you edit it to say something really nefarious and evil so that it makes them look silly for retweeting it, I guess. But past that, there is no practicality to editing a tweet within the first 30 minutes. You could just delete it and accomplish the same goal. A lot of the things you'll find on the FAQs for Twitter Blue are absolutely beyond stupid that I'm not even going to bother talking about them, so I'm just going to focus on the bigger ones. Another one that they talk about as being a great benefit is you get half as many ads. You pay $8 to still get ads, but just not as many. And I'll tell you, as a 2-month veteran of Twitter Blue, I haven't noticed a difference in my ad volume. I am still constantly inundated with ads while scrolling through. I really feel like that claim might just be a blatant lie because it's something that you couldn't really empirically prove super well as just a Twitter Blue user. You wouldn't be like, my ad density is exactly the same, because they could always argue like, no, it's actually reduced, you're wrong. And you would have no way of proving it. But going from not subscribing to Twitter Blue to subscribing to Twitter Blue, the ads is exactly the same. Nothing has changed on that front at all in any noticeable, meaningful way. So that's fucking worthless. There's no reason to be paying $8 a month to still be getting ads, the same amount of ads. The edit button is worthless. The undo tweet is worthless. The extra amount of text that you can add to a tweet, I guess, could be useful for journalists, and really journalists alone. But even then, you still might be better off of just doing a reply, because I know most people aren't clicking expand and show more for like a large, long tweet. At least I don't think it's that common. But I could see maybe a bit of practicality for it, but not for $8 a month, and not unless you are an actual journalist whose job it is to try and like convey news through tweets. Longer videos, who gives a shit, especially since there's no video monetization right now that Elon Musk keeps hyping up, so you don't really see any return on those videos on the platform. So if you're trying to be like a Twitter content creator, you're actually just getting fucking donuts here, goose eggs, $0 in return from posting the content. Now, he does keep talking about how he wants Twitter to be a platform for content creators who subscribe to Twitter Blue, so he wants to be able to monetize that content, so maybe eventually that might be something worthwhile, but right now it's just literally not there at all. And really, the only other big feature that's currently here that I've seen a bit of buzz about is the subscriptions, which is a paid thing where followers can pay to subscribe to your Twitter, which is cuckoldry, even more shameful than subscribing to Twitter Blue in the first place. I think this is beyond embarrassing and worthless. This is fucking tragic if anyone actually subscribes to a fucking Twitter account. But here's how it works. So, a follower of someone with Twitter Blue can subscribe to their tweets for $5 a month, and as a Twitter Blue user, you can see what you stand to gain if whatever percentage of followers sign up for this. So on mine, it has this really misleading shit about how much money can you make with subscriptions. Well, if only 2% of your followers sign up at $5 a month, you get 252.4K per month, which is crazy. That is a huge, huge, huge amount of money right there. And this is like that classic, if everyone watching this video sends me $1, I'll be a millionaire type thing. Like, it's fucking stupid. This is very misleading and manipulative. There is 0% chance that 2% of any single Twitter account would ever subscribe to them for $5 a month. It's not going to happen. I would wager a guess that 0.0000001% of any account's followers would even consider paying $5 a month to subscribe to them, especially because there's no benefit to them for doing it. There is no real reason for it. This is what subscribers get. They get a badge. Whoopee! And then bonus content with unscripted thoughts, ideas, and opinions with extra tweets and personal replies. Oh, so you mean just more normal tweets? Every fucking tweet is just an unhinged, unscripted thought for the most part. And then it just says more features coming soon. They couldn't even find something else to round this out with. It's just like, yeah, and then maybe we'll think of other things. So you actually get nothing for it. 2% of your followers will never subscribe to this. It is a complete pipe dream. So I'm not turning on subscribers. Like, I don't need to actually take the plunge on that one to know how worthless it is. I'm not going to bother. Now, I know Mr. Beast has subscribers on, and they've been like really pumping out notifications to let people know that they should subscribe to him, which is super weird, but I do know there are people that are turning it on, and I'm very curious on how that's going for them, because I can't imagine it being super successful when there is no benefit to subscribing to them. You get nothing. At least on something like Twitch, you can get emotes, which build the community and people get excited about that. But even there, I think emotes are pretty weak as like something that you receive for a transaction. It's mainly just to show support to a streamer you like, which I guess you can make the same argument for Twitter, but you're still just getting absolutely nothing of value out of it. And to show support to that Twitter user, I'm assuming they have other platforms anyway that are more direct to them, that you would probably be better off showing support through those as opposed to Twitter itself. Now, this is like the last main feature with Twitter Blue that I wanted to discuss in this video here. I just think it's completely worthless right now. Even if this was $1 a month, I would say that it's a waste of $1. It's just truly not worth any amount of money because none of this is useful. But that's not to say that it can't be in the future. I do recognize that this is still very early. This is still like a very primitive build of Twitter Blue. So maybe down the line there's going to be some practicality and some benefit to some of this shit. And it might be worth money then. Like maybe then it would be a worthwhile subscription service. But right now, not even close. And everyone that does have Twitter Blue deserves to get laughed at for being financially irresponsible here because it is just absolutely not worth it. Like I said, it could be down the line, but from everything I have access to with Twitter Blue right now, it is far from a good service. So I wanted to explain why I still have Twitter Blue. I really do think it is important that if I am going to be talking about a service like this, that I need to at least be subscribed to the service to have a full understanding of how it all works. That is the only reason that I have Twitter Blue and am wasting money on it. So that way I can be as knowledgeable as possible on the subject. So hopefully that explains all of that. That's really about it. So yeah. It's been way too long since we last looked at a horrible Kickstarter campaign, and I've got a beautiful Kickstarter to share with you all today. It's called AnimeTube, and this one is especially evil because it targeted the purest group of us, anime fans. Weebs, like you and you. I'm not a weeb, god damn it, and I'm tired of people spreading that rumor. That's some absolute false, slanderous accusations. I simply can appreciate some fine anime, but I wouldn't self-identify as a weeb. So now that that confusion's cleared up, it's time to talk about football, titties, and anime scams. So let's take a look at the main Kickstarter campaign promotional pitch. Ooh, anime tubes coming in here raw, no rubber. The condom is off and they're not playing fair. Taking shots at Crunchyroll. Anime tube won't crunch on your roll. Fucking Gangnam styling on Crunchyroll's corpse after that one. Damn, anime tube. I don't even understand, like, why the fuck that's there. It doesn't make any sense. That just sounds like some weird sexual euphemism. Anime tube won't cream in your pie. It doesn't work, won't crunch on your roll. It's super dumb. Don't forget the things you see in this video because their actual product completely contradicts some of the things that they even say in the video. This video is the longest minute and 7 seconds of my life. Whoever filmed this should absolutely be fired and blacklisted from the industry. This is the slowest, most boring promotional pitch for anything I've ever seen. A single shot will last like 20 seconds in this video, and it does nothing. It is trash. It is absolutely awful. It's a minute and 7 seconds, but I feel like by the end of it, you've aged 6 years. I'll spare you further suffering from this Facebook royalty-free music montage. It basically just ends with them showing the front page of AnimeTube's prototype. So just to sum up the whole idea, they wanted to make an anime streaming platform that was more than just a streaming platform. It's anime streaming with a live chat service to connect with other anime fans, so basically like fucking Anime Omegle or AIM, AOL Instant Messenger. And also with a virtual assistant AI, which can not only recommend titles to you, but converse with you and connect with you on an emotional level. So they're basically creating a fucking waifu therapist, which I'll get to that section in a moment. So just to boil it all down, AnimeTube was a streaming platform for anime with the tagline, "Free Anime for All." And my god, they did it. They created a true utopia, the perfect anime streaming app. Don't take my word for it, look at these testimonials. It is routinely maintained, it's comfortable, it's quite logical and ergonomic. It's way beyond any competition, I like it. Steven. That is the Steven that said that. Notoriously picky with his anime apps, and he had that to say about it, calling it ergonomic and comfortable? Like, that's huge praise from Steven. But he's not alone because then Robert says, the best app for on-hand anime. I used to spend days looking up series, but now I just use this app with ease. That's that ergonomic, quite logical design coming into play right there. If Robert can use it easily, anyone can use it easily. I could put this in front of my dogs and they'd figure out how to watch some high-quality anime with AnimeTube. They consider Robert the dumbest anime viewer of all time. They call him the anime caveman. But he loves his anime, he's just real fucking stupid, and he had no problems navigating this app, so kudos to the design team to make it this intuitive. And then the final testimonial, and this one I think is the most important one. AnimeTube is an excellent app for old and young. It will keep you entertained for hours. It is fun for all ages. James. That seals it. What else do you even need to hear anymore? If you're not sold on this app, you're not human. Robert, James, and Steven were all in agreement that not only is the app ergonomic, but it's easy to use and it's entertaining for all ages. Like, these are the three boys. Like, this isn't just any old Robert, James, or Steven. This is the legendary council of Robert, James, and Steven. The governing boys. Like, these are the biggest fucking boys, and they're having this to say about AnimeTube? My god, I can't believe I hadn't heard of it until just now. Now let's read a little bit more about it, because it's something special. Scrolling down, you can see this hand touching some anime girls, just kind of showing what the website would look like if it ever had a chance of existing in the first place. Nothing too wild here, so we'll scroll down a little bit more, and then we get to the subscription part. You remember the tagline, free for all? Yeah, throw that shit right out the window. Look at this pricing scheme. It's looking real good. Yeah. That's super interesting. Free for all, but best if you pay for it. If you don't mind, please. And then, of course, they throw in the competition saying that they're low rated and what they're doing is actually the ultimate free anime app. And the amount of delusion that you have to go from showing the subscription pricing model to then calling it still free is just baffling to me. So basically, what they want to do is make it free with ads, and you can pay to get the ads taken off. Which is eerily similar to what the competition does. Crunchyroll's pretty close to that, where it's free with ads, but you can pay to upgrade. So to me, it does sound like AnimeTube did want to crunch on that roll just a little bit, considering that they're just taking existing apps and making them shitty. But let's move on to the actually wild part, Amy-chan, their virtual assistant AI, which would be native to the AnimeTube platform. So, Amy-chan will help users find additional content, so based on user history, favorite anime, shit like that, and build a show and movie queue. They want it to be more than a virtual assistant, though. You see, they want Amy-chan to be like a fucking Skynet supercomputer kind of thing. Q&A capabilities where you can ask her questions and she'll answer them, kind of like the Microsoft paperclip from back in the day when you'd ask it questions about PowerPoint. But it's not that simple. They want her to also be able to connect and converse with the users. Through natural, branded anime-style speech, Amy-chan can converse with users and connect with them on an emotional level. They are quite literally trying to create a waifu therapist. This is actually pretty heinous. They're hoping that if this ever existed, which it absolutely will not, and at least not in any way that they're pitching it here, they wanted to create some type of like Hatsune Miku obsession with the app and its users. So they'd have Amy-chan as someone that someone could hyper-fixate on. So a guy that's lonely would connect with Amy-chan by asking her like 2-word questions that are yes or no based, and they'd fall in love with Amy-chan and keep subscribing so that way they have access to Amy-chan. It's actually really fucked up. It's pretty dark. They're also teasing 3D capabilities where she'd have her own 3D animations for responses and conversations. They say think VTuber but with an AI, which I'm sure they absolutely could do, especially when you scroll down and meet the team here. So, I'm only going to show George. All of them are like this, where it's just random first name and then some fanfic about them. I'll go ahead and summarize this book report. It claims Ken and George are the two main chefs in the kitchen here, and they have a combined 50 plus years of full stack software development experience, including working on complex military software, as well as having a background in AI technology. And then with George's little segment, it says that he has 25 years of successful high-quality software development and leadership, as well as 2 years in Japan, 10 years on the mobile app and console development, and that's all you get. So there's no way of verifying any of this is actually true, but they tried, because at the very bottom of the page, it links to a LinkedIn for someone named George, but when you click that, it leads you to a dead page. So you click on his LinkedIn and it doesn't go anywhere, it just says this person doesn't exist. Which makes me trust George even more. He is so powerful that the government is scrubbing official records of his existence. The only way that George is able to communicate with us is through anime now, goddammit. He's too strong. That's basically it for the Kickstarter page, but this wild ride doesn't stop here. This was apparently not the first time they even tried this project. They initially launched it back in like last June or something with a $285,000 goal. They raised $50K, and since it didn't reach that goal, they didn't get any of that money. So now they've come back and lowered it to $50K, and they've exceeded that, but now they can't touch it because it's been suspended. According to AnimeTube, they suspended it themselves over the copyright issues that they were facing, but I've read evidence to the contrary. This isn't the initial page that they pitched it with. On this page, originally, they had a list of anime that they claim they were in talks to get the license for their platform. Some of the biggest in the world, the Attack on Titan, Sword Art Online's, like that caliber of anime, they had listed on their Kickstarter page to sell people on the idea, claiming that they were in talks to get this officially licensed for their platform. Anime professionals came forward and said, no, that's some bullshit. We've never even heard of these guys or talked to them. They were calling this platform a scam, and now it's been suspended. Anime News Network had a detailed article going over everything kind of as it was happening. They started getting called out all across the internet. They were blocking people on Twitter, calling them haters or shit and some shit like that. Then you had comments from industry professionals saying things like, anyone intrigued or thinking of donating to AnimeTube Kickstarters should not. They're about a decade too late to that business model and competing with Netflix, Warner, hell, even Disney, basically pointing out that they're really fucking late, which is absolutely true. It's very unrealistic shit that they're trying to do here, especially with their waifu therapist idea. It shouldn't take a lot of thought to recognize how fucking dumb it is. But what's really sad is the fact that a lot of people bought in over 100K, and 5 people bought in at the $4,500 level, which is a load of promises that will absolutely never be fulfilled. And the biggest one being a cameo in the Amy-chan manga, which apparently they had an estimated release of December of this year. So who knows, maybe the Amy-chan manga is going to take the world by storm and we'll see these 5 backers somewhere in there as a piece of manga history, some of the best characters of all time. But back to reality, going through the article a bit more, they talk about the titles that AnimeTube claim they were currently in discussions with for licenses. The list includes hundreds of titles that are already licensed by other distributors for the US streaming market. Nozomi Entertainment CEO Sean Kleckner publicly tweeted at AnimeTube, "Why do you have listings for my titles on your Kickstarter's anime licensings currently in discussion? We're not in discussion with you." That was hard for me to read, but basically Sean flopped his cock onto the lunch table and called them out on their bullshit. And then George, the legend, the man and the myth, comes forward with a tweet and says, "Hey Sean, we've contacted you on LinkedIn to discuss directly with you." That's business right there. My man is networking. George has taken this opportunity, he came in with the fire extinguisher, and he said, "Yeah, we lied. Now let's talk in DMs, bitch." So basically the rest of the article boils down to other anime professionals saying, yeah, this is absolute nonsense. George then says that, oh, that's just a misunderstanding. We went through Japanese companies first, so they gave us the green light and their full support, but since we went to them first, the American companies weren't brought into the loop, so I understand that they're just a little confused. But no, this is all legit because we went to these Japanese companies, which they were also called out on because the company they listed as the one they went to that gave them like complete full support is a company that actually couldn't give them licensing rights in the first place or something like that. So it's just a massive mess. Obviously the whole platform is some bullshit to begin with. Like there's no world where A, this would be a good platform, or B, could even exist in the way that they pitch it. I just found this to be a really interesting story. To me, it seems like they just want to take the money and run as badly as possible. They had 50K on the table last time, but they set the goal too high, so they didn't get any of the 50K. This time they brought it down to make sure that they got the goal, so hopefully they could take the money and be done. And they exceeded the goal to 100K, but then they got suspended because everyone called them out. So they're just having a really hard time completing their scam. That's really what it seems to me. But anyway, I just wanted to talk about this a little bit. That's about it. See ya. Just like fiber in my colon, the YouTube algorithm works in mysterious ways, and today it plopped out a little something special onto my homepage. A beautiful little nugget that highlighted a scam that I would have never even imagined as a possibility. A YouTuber named Falfin, whom hasn't uploaded in 6 years, came out of nowhere from the top turnbuckle and delivered a smackdown onto a nutrition brand that had a protein powder that they were hawking that isn't quite what it seems. Now, if you read the title of this video, it says this company sold cake batter as protein powder. That title is admittedly a little misleading, because cake batter is probably more nutritious than what they were parading around as protein powder and selling. It is a homemade label, and in that little screenshot there I showed you, the keen observers out there, the astute viewers, may have noticed that there's a bit of a big typo on that nutrition label. Instead of dietary fiber, it's dietati fiber. So this is not like a real label, and it actually gives me similar vibes to like the OG pink sauce shenanigans. So it turns out, we're going to go through this video together, that this nutrition brand had this protein powder that was not as advertised, and it certainly didn't have the macros that it was pretending that it did.
If you're into fitness and live in Northern California, there's a decent chance you've heard of Holmes Nutrition. Anyone that has tried Holmes Nutrition protein powder would say the following 2 things about it. 1, that it's the most delicious protein powder they've ever had, and 2, that it tastes just like cake batter. The powder itself even advertises how it's great for baking. One scoop has 22 grams of protein and only 3 grams of sugar, but it tastes so much like cake batter that someone got suspicious.
Now, I'm not familiar with this brand, I've never heard of it before, but it seems like it had a lot of glaze with people praising its flavor in particular. It had great macros, judging by the nutrition label. If you ignore the misspellings of dietary as well as essential amino acids, it seems as though they called them essential amino acids. But if you put that stuff aside, that pesky grammar and spelling, it all looked great. Now, real quick, why you should never ignore something like that on a label is these are extremely important pieces of information to get right. And if there are spelling errors in there, that showcases that something's a bit fishy, something's gone awry. Smells stinky. If a label isn't correctly, accurately describing what the contents are in this product that's being consumed, that can be the difference of someone getting sick. People make their decisions on things based on these kind of labels, especially when it comes to people with dietary restrictions. So, if the label can't be trusted, that could be legitimately dangerous for some individuals. This is something you don't fuck with. So, with this in consideration, so many people talking about how closely resembling cake batter the flavor profile was for this brand and how low the sugar was, there was someone on Reddit who, just like my boy George, got a bit curious and decided to send this out to a lab for further testing just to confirm, like, does this actually have the macros that it says it does? Is this actually what the label is telling me it is?
This Redditor sent in 3 different flavors of Holmes Nutrition to a lab. They sent samples of chocolate cake, lemon cake, and cinnamon crumb cake to this lab, Certified Laboratories, and all 3 powders came back with the same results. Instead of 22 grams of protein, this protein powder had 21 grams of carbs instead and only 3.4 grams of protein per scoop.
Boy, howdy, that's quite a bit different than what the label says is contained in that product. It's a far cry from what's advertised with this protein powder. 3 grams of protein is shockingly low. I could fart into your mouth and you get more protein from my ass than you would from this powder. For comparison, let's take a peek at Betty Crocker, just the most popular packaged cake mix. You get 1 less gram of protein in the package, but if you prepare it as you're supposed to, you would actually get 1 more gram of protein from preparing a fucking Betty Crocker cake than you would from drinking a Holmes protein shake here using this. It's like the LaCroix of protein powder, where it's the idea of protein. It's so weird. Like, I cannot believe how little protein there appears to be in this product based on the lab results here. 3 grams is actually shockingly low. I know I've already said that, but I am stunned because I would think, like, even if you were trying to make some, like, misleading product here, you would think that there'd be a little more protein in that, just even accidentally. Somehow, it's like they went in there and intentionally removed all of the protein they could possibly find. Like, you could eat a handful of grass and probably get more nutrition out of that. When I went back to the original Reddit post, it seems like this was a very popular brand of protein powder, at least in the local area. For years, Holmes Nutrition has been a well-known local name, someone everyone preached about as being legit because he's friends with so many people, but recent lab results show that the product has been severely mislabeled, sold under the appearance of a higher quality protein powder than it actually contains. I personally have been buying Holmes Nutrition for over 4 years, believing I was getting a high-quality product. People I know have even picked up their protein directly from his house, trusting they were buying from someone who cared about his customers. Instead, they were handed a product that didn't come close to meeting its advertised nutrition claims. And in the comment section, both here, on the YouTube video, and even in other places like on Facebook and stuff, and other like Instagram and things, there were tons of people talking about how long they've been purchasing this product. They've been loyal to this brand for years. And when you are trying to better your health and fitness, one thing you do is keep track of things like macros. So people were buying this and working it into their daily routine as part of their macros and their nutritional goals in order to hit what they wanted, to achieve what they were setting out to achieve. But they were being misled the whole time. They weren't getting near their protein threshold that they were looking to hit. And in some cases, you could even make an argument it was hurting consumers, as you're going to see more in this video here and in the original Reddit post. Because this is incorrectly labeled, There are people buying this product that probably shouldn't have because of like blood sugar spiking and stuff like that. This is why these labels are extremely important, because someone who's like diabetic needs this information. They rely on this information so that way they don't end up putting themselves in a dangerous position by consuming something that they shouldn't. So when this product gets tested in a lab and turns out it's not even close to what's being advertised with it and the label doesn't reflect what's actually in there at all, it becomes a huge problem, and I wouldn't be surprised to see this brand sued. Honestly, huge W to the Redditor here who decided to take it upon themselves to send this out to labs to confirm if this really is what Holmes Nutrition says it is. I think that was a very important thing to do.
I've been absolutely obsessed with getting buff and working out. I was lifting at the gym 5 days a week, and of course, I was hitting my protein macros each and every day. Or so I thought. So you can imagine my absolute despair and nausea when I found out that my favorite protein powder that I had been using for years was not even protein powder at all. Just a sweet batter mix with trace amounts of protein. An egg, a single egg, has double the amount of protein than my protein powder had. The protein powder I was spending $75 per bag on.
Oof. Yeah, protein powder's not cheap. So it seems like, based on the available information here, Holmes Nutrition was like the cheapest fucking cake batter type mix you could find, and packaged and then charged a fucking arm and a leg for it. She's right. A single egg is double what you were getting from the fucking Holmes protein powder. I'm giggling, but it's actually diabolical. She has been working out for a long time and believing to be hitting her protein goals thanks to the assistance of something like this protein powder, but turns out this entire time she wasn't, because she wasn't getting the protein she thought she was, because this is complete fucking phony baloney. She'd been schmeckeldorfed by Holmes Nutrition here. If I found out the protein powders I'd been using for the last decade were actually just, pixie dust or something and dirt and sawdust, I would be pissed. I would be extremely upset. And I saw a lot of other comments from people, even outside of like the potential dangers of someone like consuming this and having like a blood sugar spike or something like that because they didn't know or anything like that. Even outside of that, people were taking this and then wondering why they were plateauing or not like seeing any improvements when they were hitting the macro goals that they set out to and what should be leading to improvements, thus causing tons of confusion and wondering, well, what's going wrong, without ever suspecting that their protein powder they were relying on was actually the real culprit. It's such a fucking mess.
So first of all, Holmes Nutrition Protein Powder is not sold in big box stores or on Amazon. It's a company created by Sacramento-based bodybuilder Bobby Holmes and his wife. It's only available on its website, holmesnutrition.com. So how did I even find out about this protein powder in the first place? Well, the smoothies that my gym made were fantastic. So one day I peeped at the protein powder they use and I wrote it down and then went home and started buying some.
Her story is one that I saw shared by many others. Apparently, a lot of people found out about Holmes Nutrition through their local gyms that were making protein smoothies there using that powder, and people were just blown away by how great it tasted that they also wanted to find out what the fuck was this protein powder. It tasted just like cake batter, but for only 4 grams of carbs, 3 grams of sugar, 22 grams of protein. Holy shit. $75, I'm losing money not buying it. So people were then buying Holmes Nutrition protein powder. This was the gateway drug here. They believed that they had stumbled across something that was truly unlike the rest. It tasted incredible, and for only 4 grams of carbs, 3 grams of sugar, 22 grams of protein, they were losing money not giving Bobby Holmes 75 clams. Their body was withering away, shrinking and shriveling from atrophy without being fed this holy elixir that tasted just like cake batter, when really the whole time they were deceived.
So for me, I'm one of the lucky ones because this just affects my gains, but for others, this is a major health issue. The Redditor included in their post that they even saw a comment on Bobby's Instagram from someone saying their blood sugar shot up despite the label claiming low sugar and carbs. To make matters worse, in the comments, people were buying this protein for their diabetic family members that have been having issues with their glucose while taking this. And this commenter had real-time data that this protein powder was causing sugar spikes.
Now, these are just Reddit comments, so this could be as real as, my dad works at Bungie and he's gonna have you banned off Minecraft or something. But this is something that is very testable. You can monitor blood sugar spikes. And there are so many people reporting it, I'm willing to believe that that is probably accurate. The lab results are pretty conclusive. There's not a lot of wiggle room for that to be in error. And since we now know, based on that, we can't trust the label, since the label is very inaccurate, we can assume that the ingredients are not properly reflected in what is on that label. So they probably weren't able to achieve this flavor with being low sugar. We know it's not low carb. It advertised 4 grams of carbs. It's actually over 20. The sugar content is also probably higher, which she is about to dive into in just a moment. So I do think that it's probably legitimate claims here that people that were using this product were probably experiencing fluctuations in their blood sugar levels as a result of it, because they were taking it under a false pretense. They were misled thinking that it was low carb, low sugar.
The original post with the lab results were posted on Reddit on March 3rd, 2025. On March 27, they posted an update saying that Holmes Nutrition has removed all of their protein powders from their online store. So when we go to the Holmes Nutrition website, it has the following messages, starting with the bottom being the oldest. Unfortunately, we have encountered an unexpected issue with the manufacturing facility for the protein. Due to the large increase in demand, the current facility was having issues.
The message is still on the site to this day. It's been like this for many months now, and actually, a lot of customers of Holmes Nutrition found out about the potential fraud because they were Googling, where is Holmes Nutrition protein powder? And in Googling that, a lot of people found this Reddit post. So people unintentionally stumbled into this knowledge that their protein powder was severely mislabeled because they were trying to buy more of it. Now, Holmes Nutrition doesn't appear to be acknowledging it in any way, shape, or form. They're kind of plugging their ears to it, putting their head down and just saying, oh, it's temporarily off the shelves because we got to find a manufacturer. You guys just love it so fucking much that we've got to stop selling it online for now while we look for another manufacturer. That's the only reason it's not here right now. I imagine the reason for that is probably obvious. If they did say, like, whoops-a-daisy, you got us, well, we're going to have to start changing our label around to be accurate. Sorry about the inconvenience. They would be sued into fucking oblivion like that. It would be instantaneous. So their only card to play is just ignore it and hope people don't try and, like, pursue further action against them. I don't believe the story that they have to find another manufacturer now. That just seems like a convenient excuse. I don't put any stock into that being truthful. You can't trust their label and you can't trust their word, it seems.
For myself, it was either in March or April of this year, 2025, that I first noticed the products were unavailable on the website and that Holmes was citing manufacturer issues. So since the Reddit post was already up by the time I independently noticed their website, I don't have definitive data to show if the products were pulled down before the post went up or after or in response to this post exposing them. But given the timeline within the post, it seems that these messages on the site were after or in response to this Reddit post. Okay, wait. As I was editing this video, I saw this Instagram post from Diamond Tier Fitness, which is this gym in northern Sacramento, that said it's selling Holmes protein.
So it seems like while it's not available to order directly through their site, they are selling it through local gyms. And the reason for that, at least in my opinion, is that they probably have recognized that people online are a little more privy to the potential falsified nutrition label here, and thus they believe selling their inventory that they have left, which I imagine is probably sizable, they probably have quite a lot in stock that they want to offload. They found the best way to do that would be locally doing it at these gyms where people aren't just going to stand there and start like Googling it right then and there. They'll just be like, oh, this, I'll trust the label. Since we have all been led to believe that labels are accurate. They are supposed to be 100% representative of what is actually the contents of that product. So people are most likely going to be inclined to trust it if they buy it in person, as opposed to online where they might stumble across that Reddit post. So my theory is they're selling through these local gyms because they have all of this inventory that they know they can't really sell online right now. It's a little too hot, hot tub is too hot. So they're doing it locally, hoping that people will be none the wiser and won't look into it past oh, yummy, this tastes great. And that's what I think, at least.
While I was writing out this video and looking at my bag of protein powder, I noticed that the dietary and dietary fiber on the bag is spelled wrong. So this indicates that Bobby and his wife created this nutrition label themselves, which is allowed by the FDA, but does open the door for extreme inaccuracy and lack of trustworthiness in what's claimed on the label. So the FDA does not approve supplements or protein powders, so you're never going to see the FDA approved stamp on any of them. But that doesn't mean they are exempt from the FDA's labeling regulations. They still have to follow the FDA labeling laws.
That was fascinating to me because I didn't know that you could just make your own labels for the product. I knew protein powders weren't FDA approved. I think most people in the fitness space do recognize that. But I didn't know you could still just make your own fucking labels and just pull numbers out of your ass here. I mean, you can't. As you mentioned, you still have to follow, the labeling laws. But I still thought you couldn't even just do that as, some goober sitting at your home computer and typing it all out. I still thought it would have to go through something a little more official for something like that.
In addition, it includes non-dairy creamer as an ingredient, but pursuant to the Code of Federal Regulations, Title 21, Section 101.4b, if an ingredient is made from 2 or more ingredients, it must declare the established common or usual name of the ingredient, followed by a parenthetical listing of all ingredients that ingredient is made of. So, this has more ingredients that make up that non-dairy creamer, like vegetable oil or possibly even dipotassium phosphate, which are common ingredients in non-dairy creamer that are just not listed in the ingredients list. Additionally, it says cane sugar as an ingredient, so we know there are added sugars, but it just lists sugars, 3 grams. The Code of Federal Regulations, Title 21, Section 101.9, specifies that added sugars must be declared separately from total sugars and include the percent daily value. So, not only is the protein and carb content completely misstated, but there are just so many problems with pretty much every aspect of the packaging.
Yeah, to me, that's kind of a slam dunk right there. There's not a whole lot of argument that Holmes Nutrition could possibly make for why they wouldn't fully list out the ingredients there that make up that creamer, nor why they didn't separate sugars and added sugars. Well, the reason they wouldn't do the added sugars is because it would look a lot worse. There's probably a lot of added sugars in there, which is how they're able to achieve that cake batter-like taste that they're so famous for, most likely. So, her looking at the ingredients there and showcasing how it's not exactly compliant with the established protocol, I think is a very strong piece of evidence that this is all fucking bogus. That what Holmes Nutrition has done here is just reprehensible. And it could be just downright dangerous. And like I said, I wouldn't be surprised if it has opened them up to lawsuits. The lab tests are pretty hard to argue against as well, where it confirms that the protein, the carbs, all of that is just drastically wrong. So how the fuck could Holmes Nutrition even come up with an excuse? They really can't, which is why I believe they're not. That's probably why they're just radio silent and just selling locally through gyms now, it seems. Now, in the original Reddit post, they believed that the lab results indicated the presence of amino spiking. Falfin, however, disagreed with that notion, and there's a whole segment Falfin dedicates to proving why she believes it's not necessarily amino spiking here, and I highly recommend you check out her whole video so you can see her piece on that. I will, however, show you her conclusion for why she believes there's such a discrepancy between the lab results, protein, and what's listed on the bag here.
Amino spiking would still show up as protein in lab tests. So the lab test listed would not be showing only 11% protein on the results if it was amino spiked. This lab test specifically uses the Kjeldahl method, which would still read high protein. Given these facts, I disagree with the original poster that Holmes is using amino spiking. To me personally, it really just seems like we just have a complete misrepresentation of the protein versus carbs content, and that the nutrition and ingredients label is just simply wrong. I'm not a lawyer or a judge, so I can't say whether this was intentionally deceptive or just severe incompetence.
Given what she explains with amino spiking, which I wasn't entirely knowledgeable on in the protein powder space, I think she did a good job of explaining why she believes this isn't the result of amino spiking, and I agree with her conclusion that it probably is just grossly mislabeled. And while I understand it's impossible to say if it's intentionally, maliciously done this way, or if it's just them being extremely fucking stupid, like they're all just bumbling morons over there at the Holmes Nutrition HQ, I feel like, given all of the other factors at play here, to me personally, it feels like it probably is this way by design. It feels like they are intentionally trying to make this product appear as though it's something that it's not, knowing full well when people try it, they're going to love the flavor, and since they see these great macros on the back, they're going to be like a lifelong customer, as you've seen from so many other commenters and so many other people speaking up about like how betrayed they feel for years spent buying this product. So I feel like it's probably by design, but of course I can't say that with 100% certainty, but regardless, it's a huge fucking problem.
So I know this was a long video, but I just had to talk about this. I'm not a YouTuber, I'm just a person that is angry and wants other people to be aware of this. If you've made it this far, thank you so much for listening to what I have to say. I hope you have a great day and that you don't find out that you were scammed by your protein powder.
She also had a segment in here where she was mentioning other protein players in the space that were facing legal hot water, being sued because of mislabeled products, that maybe didn't have as much protein as the label said. So, like, there is a precedent set where you can't just completely fucking lie about how much protein is in your product. Now, as for whether or not Holmes Nutrition is going to face any legal ramifications, who really knows? But really, this was a very interesting video. Falfin mentions she's not a YouTuber. She was just a victim of this scam and wanted to alert others to it as well. And it's not something that she's doing just trying to fish for clicks or farm a drama or something like that. She was buying this protein powder for years, wasting hundreds of dollars over the course of this period of time, and she's far from the only one. You can see tons and tons of testimonials from people claiming that they've been buying this for years, spending upwards of like $2,000 over the course of this period of time, all under the belief that this product was helping them achieve their health and fitness goals, when really the truth of it appears to be, based on the lab results, that it was actually hampering those goals. It was actively working against them. That fucking sucks. Like, that's terrible. That's a degenerate scam right there, based on all available information. So, I just found this to be so interesting. Falfin absolutely crushed it on this video here. I know she says she's not a YouTuber, but I'm curious if she's going to do any other content in the future, because this was just really well made. And hats off to the Redditor who did the initial investigating in the beginning, sending this to a lab, being alerted to the fact that something is just awry here. It's a bit fishy, and then decided to follow through on an investigation to make sure that, everything was above board here. And then what they found out, they shared with, the world. So that way other people weren't getting, misled by it anymore. So, yeah, anyway, I just had to yap about this one. That's really about it. So, yeah. Chronicles of Elvira, $8 million Kickstarter game? Oh, Illyria? $8 million game reveal. Did this actually receive $8 million in funding? $1.3 million. I'm assuming a company or like an investor came in as well, if I had to guess. Surprisingly, unlike every other Kickstarter game ever, they haven't just completely abandoned it. At least they're giving updates still. Okay, I'm interested. Let's take a peek. Well, actually, let me watch their initial pitch while we're here. Because they had a huge ask for this. 900K. Hyper J.
Hi, I'm Jeremy Walsh.
What's up,
owner
Jeremy?
of Soulbound Studios and creative director of the innovative new MMO Chronicles of Illyria. I'm here today to talk to you about the Kickstarter we're running for this new.
When a game says that it's innovative, I know that it's not.
Possible and immersive. Hi, team.
Hi. What the fuck's going on?
coming from a broad range of game companies such as Microsoft Game Studio, Sony Online Entertainment,
Can I just see the
Foxy
game?
Studio, Monolith, Bungie, Snowblind Studio, Pandemic Studios, and Liquid Entertainment made sure that in lands really it just require player skill.
Here we
The best
go.
example of that is our combat system, which we'll talk more about later. The
Wow.
fourth design pillar of and a lot of MMOs, they automate things such as fast travel and a mail system in
Oh,
order to
God.
make the game go by faster.
Yes.
What we want to do with Chronicles
Quality
of
of
Valkyria is
life.
slow the game down again. Give you an opportunity to travel from point A to point B, to stop and make camp.
That's a hard sell
and to
on me.
reintroduce those elements that allow opportunities for dramatic
We
events.
removed everything that makes the game
Now that we have a
fun.
high-level overview,
Where we permanently kill a character when they die of old age or of combat wounds or whatever. But a problem we ran into...
If they don't eat healthy, they
is
get
that players
diabetes.
want some feeling of continuity.
You have to
don't want
really take care
lose
of your
everything
character in
spent on years
Illyria.
of accumulating
Illyria.
And then have to restart. It's just not...
one of the things I'm really excited about with Chronicles of Illyria, and one of the things that we're doing a little bit differently, is the introduction of a family system. The
Oh,
family system is so
wow.
important. It's actually the third step in character creation after picking which soul you're going to use.
Maybe you go down the dark side and you find alcohol.
Most today, the first thing you do during character creation
And
is
the
actually
family doesn't like
determine your
that.
class and race. I'm of no benefit to them, or if I do come along with
This
them,
is a really long Kickstarter pitch, I'll be
you're
honest.
dead weight, exactly.
This
So
ma-
in
this is like a
case,
lot
we
more
introduced a
effort than
system that
most bad
specifically caters to the
Kickstarters.
family, which is the bolstering system.
And it doesn't even seem
And
bad
the
so
bolstering
far.
system works like this. If you're in game,
They are actually
Estimated
inbuilt.
delivery
Not only can you
2016.
walk, run, sprint, jump. You can also vault, climb onto walls, hang off ledges.
I see, it's been a
Climb
while.
onto the rooftops and do flourishy jumps if you want to. But the system.
Look
does
at
not
that
hold
shit,
you.
he's free running.
It's completely player skill based. You need to
I
know
saw
what
that
your
kind of shit in
character
YouTube
can do,
videos.
as well as
What happens when they don't deliver?
So you could
Nothing.
actually build up a huge reputation.
There's no obligation for them to even deliver anything ever.
To a large number of
A
people.
lot of them don't.
And then you can also set up a.
Okay.
Those are choices.
This is a lot to take in. Let's just see what we actually ended up getting. This pitch seems like one of the most ambitious titles I've ever heard. I wouldn't be surprised if somewhere at the 15-minute mark they introduce a system that allows you to literally import your real soul into the game and live out the rest of your life in Illyria. So let's see what we actually ended up with.
This is a story about a game that claimed to give players the freedom they wanted, freedom to live, freedom to die. Hundreds of thousands of fans, 6 years of waiting.
Finally, a game
A
lets
game
me
that to this
die.
day, no one.
If you die in
A game that would
Illyria,
have
you die in the
living and
real
dying in
world.
a fantasy land
I
where
believe it.
seemingly anything was possible. For many, it was literally a dream come true. So where did it all go wrong? Let's start at the beginning. April 28th, 2009.
2009?
Kickstarter, the crowdfunding platform launches. September
Oh,
20th,
oh, I was gonna
2009, the
say.
first, or at least the first instance
Jesus
I could
Christ.
find. October 10th, 2012, the Game Developers Conference. Star Citizen is announced.
Yo, it's the
Ambitious title
one.
ever presented.
That's like a
multiplayer
$300
space
million
trading and combat simulator
crowdfunded
on a scale
piece of
beyond
shit.
anything we'd ever seen. September 18th, 2015, the first ever screenshot of Chronicles of Illyria would be shared
Wow.
on the company's Twitter timeline.
Look
this
at
time,
that
the community
beauty.
is already beginning to grow, giving the company anywhere from $5 at the lowest level of contribution to $10,000 for the
Ooh.
King or Queen package at the top level. Each package would allegedly
These are
come with an
some
array
dapper.
of goodies to tempt in the potential backers, ranging from a wallpaper and access to the newsletter at the lowest end,
Thanks to some
and a
bogus.
literal kingdom to rule over in the game at the high end. For $10,000, you could own your own kingdom. And of course, you're probably wondering if anyone would pay to be a king or a queen. They did. 4 of them. The launch
And
of the
now
Kickstarter
they're
subsequent financial
very
success was
unhappy, I
received
bet.
Mostly positively. Project funding will continue on our site, chroniclesofillyria.com, after the Kickstarter ends, starting June 6th. We will offer the ability to upgrade
Yeah,
your
it sounds about
existing
right.
pledge. When the website came up, it would feature
Wow.
a ticker which showed the exact dollar amount raised from the various products and perks sold on the website.
Holy
And
shit.
it would continue to tick by month after month as more fans of the genre caught wind of Chronicles of Illyria and became enamored with the idea of this unbelievable journey they would soon embark upon.
But why,
At this point of
though?
The story, we have to introduce a supporting character.
Just
and
wait for it to
someone.
come out and
A
buy
common
it.
payments. With this came an admission of neglect in transparency with the community that had supported the dream to this stage. The game was not progressing at the speed they had promised. The inability to attract world-class engineers to
Let me see. What does this statement even mean? Second, we wrongly assume that having a kick-ass game design, rock-solid team of core employees, and successful Kickstarter under our belt would immediately draw in world-renowned talent. Wait, what, you wanted, like, Logan Paul to promote it or something? Is it, like, what the fuck does that statement even mean? We continue to have only a single engineer from May until December of 2016. Alright. Well, that'll do it.
Alpha 1 would now
They're
become
waiting
the
for
first
someone to
4
make the
months
game
of
for them.
2018. Skipping forward to January 12th, 2018, roughly
That's a
when
good
we would
plan.
be expected. The game was still yet to be played.
Can we
by
watch some good
single member of the
Kickstarters? Are they
public.
all a scam
At
or
this
some
time,
actually
the
fine?
revolutionary tech solution that they'd announced as a
I'm
partner
pretty harsh on
is no longer a
Kickstarters for good
partner.
reason, but some of them
Spatial
do
OS being
deliver
the
and are
system that
good.
They had spoken so
I think
highly of
Chivalry
and
was
spent
actually a
the last
Kickstarter
19
game.
months working with as funding continued to gradually increase throughout 2017 and 2018.
Why?
But there was something in the air.
They made
The game
almost
was
$1 million
considerably more and more
doing
flack due to
nothing.
release deadlines, lack of communication, and of
Holy
course,
shit.
an increase in worrying crowdfunding events. The cracks were already beginning to show. The official channels for communication, the Discord, the forums would become increasingly hostile, and more people were either being banned or removing themselves. The updates were less and less frequent, the features
They're
showcased were
lost.
less
They don't get to own a
substantial,
kingdom in
and we
Ilaria.
had not seen almost September 6th, 2019.
Let's
First
go.
gameplay footage of Chronicles of Lyria seen
It looks so good.
since
Fuck!
October 30th, 2017.
This is gonna change everything.
Disaster. The first video ever from Soulbound Studios to receive a negative like to dislike ratio since the announcing of the game.
This looks like some shit
This
we'd play
would
on
be the
bad
turning
game
point in
nights
the
from
story
Steam.
for most. Comments flooded in
Oh my
asking what
God.
was going on. Why did the game look this way? I posted a video claiming that Chronicles of Lyria would soon cease operations.
Oh, now how
at the
dumb do you
studio,
feel now,
and the
huh?
game would subsequently be cancelled. With the pre-alpha, the players would finally get to test the
Oh,
game. The
let's
game
get
was
it.
finally in sight. One more step and pre-alpha would be in the players' hands. The
Wow.
Settlers of Illyria
It actually
event
looks
lasted
like
45
RuneScape.
days and allowed the
Like if
community to buy
RuneScape,
plots
old
of
school
land
RuneScape was
within
made
the
in
game world
Unity.
for between $65
Holy shit.
and $1,350 each. 20th of March 2020.
Wow.
The post opens. Soulbound
I feel
Studios
stupid for being
hard
excited for
work on
Breath of the
gameplay
Wild
features and
2,
technology
when this
that
exists.
will deliver Chronicles. Pre-alpha was available to the backers, titled Trial of the Tested. This would turn out to be nothing more than a small obstacle course. Something many developers claim to be able to put together in a matter of days. or
What the
hours.
fuck is
The
this?
announcement
It's
posted
actually
features,
RuneScape. They gave you an agility
jumping,
course.
Climbing, ziplining.
Oh my
and
God.
running. The post, of course, ended. reminding
Jagex has a
all that the
lawsuit on their
NDA,
hands.
The non-disclosure agreement was in effect. No one would be permitted to show footage of the gameplay.
It really
nor
does
be
look like a
allowed to
student
speak
game.
of the experience.
Like a
Quote,
freshman
"Small
at
playable
university.
Experiences are planned. As this was happening, a new player was approaching. A Discord appeared titled Class Action for COE. A Discord dedicated
Oh,
to
baby.
voting to get restitution for the community that had funded this
Wouldn't
project
work.
to completion and been delivered.
Literally
nothing.
doesn't work.
April 9th,
Kickstarter
2020,
scams never
a
get held
letter from
accountable.
Jeremy to the public, correcting a misunderstanding.
But I like the
It was
chutzpah.
never his intent. The blog post raised more questions than answered, talking about transparency, restoring the forums in a read-only
I
state.
can't believe
and
it didn't come out.
Shoring of backers. 17th of August 2020, movement in the class action lawsuit Discord. Some backers had hired lawyers and the ball had started to roll. But the surprise here, the letters are dense in legalese, but both of them are uniform in their reply. Our clients did no wrongdoings. Our clients will not comply with your demands.
Oh, they're
So
playing
they are at
hardball.
impasse. Neither side willing to budge. The only solution: settle it in court. A
Let's
costly
fucking
and
get it.
time-consuming undertaking. 3rd of
In
February
Illyria's
2021,
court. You have to play
legal papers are
in-game
filed with a
at the
district
courthouse in
court. Everything
Illyria.
is now in motion. Until today, the 1st of April 2021, when I'm recording this video, not a single soul outside of Soulbound Studios has played Chronicles of Lyria or could attest to the authenticity of the project.
Thanks to Prime
No
Brady
one
and
ever
Resub
played
Smack.
this game, and many would be waiting patiently for the legal proceedings for clarity. The prevailing sentiment being that if Jeremy wouldn't share with us the real situation, perhaps they could force him to in court. This
Good
is the
idea.
Chronicles of Illyria.
It was great. He's been crushing it. We watched like 4 Kira TV videos because he's covering so many MMO scams that I've become addicted to. And what remarkable timing, because 2 days ago they released another episode from Chronicles of Illyria. I am so excited. So we saw the pre-alpha. Actually, hold on. Before I do this, let's watch like a full Let's Play of it.
Shortcuts because my
Kill the
intuition.
guy yet?
What?
Oh no.
Oh, ooh,
Oh,
It's alright, we'll just ignore that.
that's
Flipping issue.
that'll be a
This is the
time
skeleton over
loss.
on that skull head on the left hand side. Raging River, right? Oh, he's looking at
Oh, there's some combat in here.
Oh.
In fact, it even looks pretty smooth. Oh, wow.
He dead?
He's
Maybe.
dead.
He's dead.
Definitely dead.
Very
He's
suspicious.
playing a death animation.
Does that count? I think
I didn't watch him die.
You didn't watch him die.
Is that part of the requirements?
We're just gonna assume that he
I
died.
feel like you guys.
All right. And then, is this the second or first one? Oh, this is the first one. Oh, fuck, Illyria is so beautiful. I wish our world could look like this. It's like if James Cameron made a video game and then took a shit on it. Man, I'm about to start tearing up. Imagine spending $10,000 to own a kingdom in this shit. I think that would be worse than owning an NFT. Why would they even release this?
We're still making changes to the UI, so it might be a little small. See all the nameplates at once to make it easy to figure out where you're.
So they turned it into Roller Coaster Tycoon? Like, what is this?
Of your NPCs. So we do want to be able to give you a bird's eye view of knowing how healthy people are just by looking at them.
This does look like a game that Nintendo would have shown off at their direct.
Click on my all revive. It's kind of what we've got: the round neck with the straight leg.
Why are you focusing on clothes so much?
Neck with no lace, short sleeve. With
Does anything happen in this game?
If the time and see your settlement.
Are they just making this as quickly as possible to avoid being sued?
But after a recent play session,
like, why do this?
Semi-weekly playtest,
Just
we've decided
leave.
that we want to, at the very least, add tools. At its current size, is currently using the same game data as one of the larger rocks, and that's because there's a lot of data and a lot of assets based on a game like this, and we have to make sure that they're all kept in sync.
Wow, this is good.
And so when I'm done mining.
Alright, Chronicles of Illyria. I can sign up now to get nothing in return, I guess. Except be on Jeremy's mailing list. No, it doesn't look like you can keep funding it, which is great. I think this game looks great. Yeah, I can see where you're coming from. It does look pretty good. You get to do nothing, I guess, which is pretty cool. Yeah, I can't even find anything about this. On their website, they're still advertising it as an MMO, but here it's not only not called Chronicles of Illyria anymore, but it's also not an MMO. Apparently it's like a village builder where you get to pick out your character's clothes. Is that like a fashion designer thing? How confusing. Well, I have no sympathy for the people who paid $10,000. Like, you pretty much deserved it. I don't know why you would blindly throw $10K into something on Kickstarter, especially when there's literally nothing to present. That was cool. Another good MMO, another Kickstarter classic. Yeah, it received $8 million total, and there was 4 people in particular on Kickstarter that backed for $10,000 because they were told they'd get to own their own village in the MMO. I don't even understand why you'd ever believe that, nor want that. I like that they're all MMOs. Yeah, you know, the reason they're MMOs is because that's the most marketable genre. Most people play an MMO or have played an MMO at some point, so it's just the most general genre to get as many people as possible. There's an actual reason that they're all MMOs. I often exaggerate the scale of things that I talk about just because I find it to be more entertaining that way. So I'll make a video like, this is the biggest controversy of 2022, and what I'm talking about is how a Twitch streamer just got busted for selling photoshopped feet pics or something. But in this case, I actually can't overstate how big of a scandal this is that I'm about to talk about. This week, an absolutely massive scandal was brought to light. One that may have cost billions in wasted spending and potentially 16 years worth of misguided research. This is the story of how for the last 16 years, Alzheimer's research may have been based on a deliberate lie. Even just saying that out loud makes me sound like some kind of fucking tinfoil hat wearing Alex Jones caricature. But this has been confirmed by multiple reputable sources, actual scientists. So, let's get into it. I don't want to get too deep into the science of it because I feel like a lot of people will just immediately tune that out and just not give a fuck. So I want to make this as digestible as possible. It's also a very nuanced problem, and I want to do my best to give you the most clear and understandable truth to it, because there's a lot of misleading headlines and a lot of not entirely accurate information, so I'm just going to do my best here. I'm no scientist. I graduated with a human science degree, but it's been 8 years now, and I've done nothing but wipe my own ass with that degree, so I'm a little out of practice. This story is genuinely pure evil, so get ready for a wild ride. It starts in 2006 with the most influential paper published on Alzheimer's It was published by Sylvain Lesny, and it linked a protein in the brain to impaired memory. This became one of the most cited pieces of Alzheimer's research ever. It's been cited roughly 2,300 times in further Alzheimer's research projects, as well as potentially being used as a basis for some drugs aimed at treating Alzheimer's. And without getting too deep into the weeds of it, ultimately what this paper did is it put one specific protein in the crosshairs here, and it gave scientists a target, which was the protein listed in the paper. And what scientists believed is if they could research, analyze, and potentially fix that protein, they may have an efficient way of treating Alzheimer's. So it steered them down a specific path of researching. And fast forward to 2021, a neuroscientist named Matthew Schrag cannonballed down the rabbit hole and revealed that this influential paper may have just been a deliberate fraud. The evidence is extremely compelling. Matthew Schrag himself isn't saying anything like specific, like this is maliciously done to, fuck up research or anything. He's pointing out all the red flags, and it does seem like the data was falsified. And if that's all true, then there is the potential that for the last 16 years, all of the research and money that has been spent on researching and curing Alzheimer's has been completely wasted because this is deliberately wrong with falsified data. Now, there has been a bit of debate as to the severity of the issue. While most agree that this is very fishy, like the paper itself is most likely falsified information, the severity of it is highly scrutinized. I read something from an expert named Rudy Tanzi, who's an Alzheimer's expert, and he said that no one in the field had paid attention to the study after about 2008 because no one had been able to replicate its findings, and that the Science story, Science being the publication that broke the news that this 2006 study was most likely false, he said the Science story went too far in suggesting that years of research may have been wasted, and called it hyperbole to say that the paper had any impact on the amyloid hypothesis or the larger field. And he's not alone. A lot of other experts feel that this was pretty inconsequential and it didn't have a wide effect on Alzheimer's research. And while I think that that's a good case to make, that, they weren't able to replicate the results themselves, so they kind of threw it out and haven't used it since, I don't really think that means it's not a big deal. The fact that the most cited Alzheimer's research paper is potentially manipulated and fabricated data is extremely alarming. It throws into question the actual peer review process here. Why was it up to an independent neuroscientist, a neuroscience super sleuth here, the fucking Sherlock Holmes of neuroscience, to debunk this? If you knew that these weren't replicatable results and that they were probably fishy, why not publish that to discredit it and stop that from being used? Because I don't think they know every single Alzheimer's expert out there. There's probably plenty of other places that have developed drugs that may actually be based on the 2006 study that is potentially wrong. It's just hard to say that it has no effect because you have no way of knowing that. You don't know what was being used by other labs out there. And I do think there is a big case to be made that this paper, being as influential as it was, did steer research in a certain direction where maybe without it, it would have been better off to explore other avenues. There's just no way of actually measuring the effect that this paper has had, but one thing is for sure, it is the biggest one. This was the landmark Alzheimer's research paper, and now it has come out that it is very likely false, and deliberately false. I'd also like to at least mention that a lot of other scientists believe that with or without this paper, Alzheimer's research would pretty much be in the exact same spot. Right now, a lot of Alzheimer's research is following what's called the amyloid hypothesis, which this paper didn't exactly, make. This isn't the actual genesis for the amyloid hypothesis, but it is the biggest one in that field. So a lot of researchers have said, no matter what happened with this paper, we'd still be in the amyloid hypothesis exploring options for Alzheimer's treatment regardless. So like I said, there just is a lot of debate on exactly how influential this paper was in Alzheimer's research. I've also seen a lot of people upset at Science, the publication that broke this story, for the handling of the reporting, saying that it's misleading and hyperbole and it's just causing more distress to people that have been affected by Alzheimer's or relatives that have been affected by Alzheimer's. And I think that's extremely misguided anger. Again, it's up to debate as to the actual effect of this paper, but I think the thing that should make people most angry is that a very, very popular piece of evidence, of research here, this 2006 study, was deliberately falsified. There should be no room for falsified data in published papers like this. Of course, science is always evolving and changing, so sometimes certain things are going to be disproven down the line, but what should always be true is that the data they submitted was submitted in good faith and accurate data, not fraudulent, manipulated, photoshopped, fake. That never has a place. That needs to have serious repercussions. That's where most of the anger should be directed. Of course, like I said, it's up for debate exactly the effect this has had on Alzheimer's research, but the problem is, a scientist deliberately submitted wrong information knowingly. That's the biggest problem. So the question becomes, why? Why would somebody fake the paper? And this is something I've said before and I'll say it again. Science doesn't lie, but people do. And Sylvain Lesny may have had a financial incentive to skew the results to fit his hypothesis. This wouldn't be the first time. For example, Andrew Wakefield, perhaps the biggest case of deliberate fraudulent science. Andrew Wakefield is actually the one who basically started the anti-vaccination movement. He published a paper that linked the MMR vaccine to autism, which was completely made up, completely false. But by the time he was stripped of his medical license, it didn't matter because he had already shown his full, greasy, dirty asshole to the world and got a lot of people to believe in false data. And to this day, there's still a large number of people that believe that vaccines cause autism, and it's entirely because of one man's falsified paper on it. So these have huge consequences. And there's one more example I'd like to highlight real quick. This is something I learned about in college. In the 60s, Big Sugar wanted to silence critics as to how unhealthy sugar was. So they paid scientists to write papers talking about how bad fat is and blaming fat for weight gain and all of that to try and placate sugar's responsibility, or sugar's role in like heart issues, weight gain, stuff like that. So papers can be bought. Everyone's got a price, I suppose. So scientists can sometimes be influenced by money from corporations. It's been proven in the past to happen. So that's a potential explanation for why these would be deliberately fabricated. But I don't know. No one knows for sure yet. This is still developing. But one thing is for sure, that there is something very wrong with that 2006 study, and there is the potential that billions of dollars and 16 years worth of research may have been steered in the wrong direction. And I think it's worth noting that Alzheimer's treatment can be extremely expensive. One of the newest treatments is called Aduhelm, and it's $56,000 per year. It's a lot of money. And who's to say now if that's based on like the correct science as opposed to fraudulent from 2006. You just never really know for sure now. There's just always going to be an air of doubt around it. I don't exactly know how you fix the problem either, besides just get extremely strict on reviewing the papers. I don't really know. I don't have a solution, but it's a very scary problem. And I just wanted to highlight it here because I found this to be like a very big deal that I haven't seen many people mention outside of like the actual scientists who are talking about it. So yeah, anyway, that's about it. So yeah. Dreamworld, the scam MMO alpha is here. This game looks great. Reminds me a little bit about IMVU. Running in a full 140 FPS, the way that the creators envisioned, baby. Hold on, give me 1 second. This was a Kickstarter. The last game you'll ever play. What a horrible... If you put money into a Kickstarter that says the last game you'll ever play, you're a fucking idiot. You pretty much deserve to be scammed. Are you fucking serious? I can't find its Kickstarter. Can someone just tell me how much it raised? $64,000. $64,000? Let's see what people saw here that made them want to put $64K into it. I've been saying for years, Kickstarters are the dumbest things that you can put money into. They very rarely ever even come out, and when they do, they're usually not good. Wow, look at it go! I'll never need to play another game again! All my friends are here! This reminds me of one of those old Windows 95 games. There's even frame rate issues in their fucking trailer.
We want to create the world with the most freedom possible. If you see a tree and you want to cut it down, go cut it down. If you see dirt that needs digging, go dig that dirt. If you see a mountain that needs leveling, take that.
So, like every other game that comes out like in the last 5 years?
With waist high. And my fiance left me soon after.
Jesus Christ, what does this have to do with Dreamworld? What the fuck is going on?
My parents. And then Gary quit his job, and we added features every week, and we worked every waking hour. And then Dreamworld went from small white box test level to medium-sized island to a massive world where players could run around.
So this is a bunch of like asset store pieces put into a world like every other Steam scam?
Incredible, wild ride. Excited to be.
I've played so many Steam new releases. This is exactly the same thing.
This is only the beginning.
Hi, I'm Garrison.
Hi, what's up, Garrison?
I was working at Google, Facebook, and Apple, and
Wow.
I left to come work on Dreamworld. Zach has always had this idea of a single.
Why did you quit? You didn't have to.
Game world. Dreamworld will be the largest multiplayer game ever.
Whoa, that's
Thank
a big
you
claim.
so much for being a part of this
Oh,
Kickstarter
I don't know about
campaign,
that.
Part of Dreamworld.
All right.
And we'll see you in Dreamworld.
I see why people put money into it. This looks good. I'm sure they get to it in the next Kickstarter video, but I bet Steve Jobs came back to life to invest in Dreamworld. Okay, now let's see what happened. Now that I'm caught up on the lore. This really has everything a gamer needs. The only problem is at some point you're gonna have to go get food and take a piss, which means there's gonna be time you spend away from Dreamworld. That's really the only flaw I can see. Look at this, he even has negative 214 billion shit particles. Dog shit loaves. Whatever this element is.
Many YouTubers, in fact,
I'm so sorry to do this. Is that true, Peter? There's a vid by his ex-fiancée where she watches his Kickstarter pitch and exposes how much he left out. This is nutty. Where can I find that? Why I broke off my engagement. Why am I involved with the Dreamworld scandal? What the fuck is happening?
I ended my engagement about 8 months ago. I
heard.
talked about it on the internet.
It was real rough. He made a shitty game. It was bad.
I don't need the public internet validation around.
Whoa! What the fuck? That's what it's all about.
I didn't want to
internet points. What do you mean?
However, to me, I'm like, what? I'm the ex in this situation. Like, why am I being involved at all in any way? Why? So
you breaking his heart led to him scamming people. It seems.
There are many people out there explaining. He says we were struggling to pursue our aspirations. I was doing fantastic. Thank you very much.
Classic. I had a feeling he was lying.
I was able.
But did you ever stop to ask how he was doing?
Interesting job at this point, was fully supporting myself.
He was hurting.
He was literally multiple months into already developing this before I broke up with him. He was in the midst of the truth when I broke up with him, and me breaking up with him did not affect that.
Did it look like shit back then too?
Honestly, I had already made up my mind to at least call off the engagement before I then found out.
I'm learning so much about this guy for some reason.
Okay. It's not the main reason, but it majorly affirmed my position to break up. So
I want to break up with him now, and I'm not even dating him.
Go back. Couldn't resize the ring to fit my finger because it would have entirely melted. The exact words from the jeweler were cheapest option on the market. I confronted him about the ring. I asked if he knew it was fake, and I mean, to be honest,
this seems so
he had been scammed
not involved with Dreamworld. But I'm invested now.
Priced, and then when he called the jeweler after, I asked
he should have made the ring.
He came to find out that the woman who actually
in Unity
the ring
out of an asset and then 3D printed it.
She had actually. He also started saying things like, well, why do you deserve a diamond? Or why do I have to buy you a diamond? And things like that.
He's going full Redditor.
But again, it was really California.
Well, why do you deserve a good MMO?
I flew back to New Hampshire early.
I'm starting to see the correlation now.
Proceeded to not any of that.
I'm learning way too much about this guy.
Consider going anywhere near a harder drug like coke. It is.
I didn't accuse him of being on drugs.
But I can guarantee.
I'll let that stay as a personal thing. I don't need to know. So he has a history of being dishonest. So this is a newer video than this one, so I think chronologically the next chapter in the Dreamworld saga is this one.
Beyond that, a group of people have made it their mission to dig into every detail about the project and the people behind it, and it's an absolute nefarious shambles. The developers, if we can
I
call
know
them
so
that,
much about this guy now.
Which is
So
a successful
much.
My fiance left me. My best friend Gary left me. My parents left me. We got so excited that I made a Discord channel and it left me.
Which, of course, neglects to mention that you bought her a fake engagement ring to propose to her at a red carpet event and being universally panned by even success and being...
Gary put nipples on these things? What the fuck? He had to go in here and custom add these nipples. This is just a stock asset. There are no nipples on this normally. Superstar coder Gary came in here and said, put some fucking nipples on this. My man, I really think he is a superstar coder. He probably made Google.
Other players in the game are a floating sphere instead of an actual avatar. They tried to fix the absolutely terrible
I'm just shocked there's other
adding
people in
a
the
kind
game.
of fog system. Essentially, a 13-year-old fresh out of his first IT class could essentially absolutely ruin this game for everybody involved by just telling the server whatever he wants to happen, and the server would say, yeah, you're right, that did happen. At this point, we couldn't even call it hacking or a hacker, because it's actually so easy that I'm pretty sure Cheat Engine could ruin the whole game out of the box. And that's
Holy
not all.
shit.
The things that... So if you invite people who they don't like, they also ban you from the server for just inviting people. So the worst part about this is if you back the game, the only place to get updates on the game is on Discord. And if you even ask a question or say something that they disagree with, they just ban you outright. They don't speak to you. It doesn't have to be anything serious whatsoever. You get banned, and then you can't even follow along with the game that you paid money for.
What? Hold on, I want to read some of these. This guy actually had children running his game's Discord? Is that even, like, legal? Would that count as child labor? Unpaid labor from kids to monitor your product's Discord and manage it? That's such a weird gray area. What the fuck?
Because people thought that these children, because they're children, were just banning people for no reason, when in actual fact it was Wolf and Gary. So not only did they recruit these kids,
well, let's not. We don't know
guise
about
of
Gary.
giving them
We
a
don't know if
job
it was
eventually,
him.
which is
64K is pennies compared to some Kickstarter scams. These YouTubers are milking this for their own content. What? So just because in comparison to some of the other bigger Kickstarter scams, this is no longer an issue because it's only 64K? Disagreed entirely. It's not the biggest Kickstarter scam in history, but it's 64K that came out of people's pockets that they believed in a project that didn't exist. Just because it's not a ton of money comparatively to other projects doesn't mean it's no longer important and shouldn't be talked about. And to the second point, it is good content at that.
Like 5 people behind me all sort of like stop with me and like look around like they didn't know me. And I realized that they were running with me because they really liked the music, and they weren't...
That never happened.
Probably because they also realized that it was a safety hazard.
So obviously, as soon as everybody noticed... Funnily enough, this isn't even the worst business that this fucking Melvin's tried to start. Let's take a look at the absolute straight fire clothing brand that he started. March 2018, introducing Baron brand, another business to add to the pile. As you can see, some absolutely fantastic designs here. I mean, if I was 13 again and just saw my first episode of Naruto, I'd probably be super...
Well, hey, Naruto.
Perhaps if they sold it in like a... But this is by a full-grown man, and this is his best attempt at a business venture. He also, of course, designed
it doesn't look good,
serviceable
per se.
By the standards of most people. But whenever I see a full-grown man making promises to cover the expenses of a 16-year-old girl moderator and promising work for them while they're making jokes about him being her dad, it's just weird. It's creepy, and even if this is all that there is to it, it just makes me feel off about the situation. I have to question if this is being said like out in the open in a mod section where multiple people
oh god, not Gary,
not paid employees or anything like that.
What's Gary
joked about in private? There is now mainstream game press getting involved, journalists asking them for comment and interviews. To which they, of course, claim to be incapable of doing so.
Caleb brought it up to me. That's where I heard it from. He brought it up today.
Having the time to sit on Discord,
he doesn't even go on the internet. He doesn't have a fucking computer, and he heard about it.
To be too difficult to answer. Of course, they've got the time for that one.
What a fucking disaster of a game, though.
GGs, work out how you can spot the scams, work out why they're trying
Oh, this is just like a full all-encompassing thing. I can pretty much spot an MMORPG scam. If it's not made by a big studio, it's a fucking scam. Like 100% of the time. No two-person team can make an MMO. Just can't fucking happen. I can't think of a single MMO off the top of my head that wasn't made by like a decently sized team ever. And functioned and wasn't dog shit. What a wild rabbit hole. Doesn't matter if you've been living under a rock, I'm sure even Patrick Starr's gotten this news by now. PayPal Honey, a wildly successful browser extension used by millions, turned out to be a big scam, allegedly. Except it's not alleged, it is factually a scam, in my opinion. I think Honey is more of a scam than the shake weight. This shit is foul. And thanks to a multi-year investigation conducted by a YouTuber named Megalag, it has blown the lid wide open on this operation from Honey. And just like my bubble guts after I make the mistake of eating a hot dog at a hockey game, it's bad. So bad, in fact, that it has now led to a class action lawsuit being filed against Honey. Another YouTuber named Legal Eagle just posted this video announcing this class action lawsuit they're filing against them. Now, when you hear the term YouTuber, most of you picture a bumbling imbecile like me. But contrary to popular belief, not every content creator is overdosing on stupid juice. Legal Eagle is a real attorney, not some phony baloney, horse hockey, a title he gave himself from Roblox or anything. And he made this video going over the motivation behind this class action lawsuit, believing that PayPal Honey has caused substantial financial damages to a substantial number of people. Now, this isn't his first rodeo announcing a lawsuit. I believe he's made 2 other videos talking about something that he's suing. This one obviously comes pretty early into the investigation that Megalag has conducted. Keep in mind, that was part 1 of a 3-part series that Megalag is releasing on his multi-year investigation of Honey. And part 1 already had enough foul play to lead to a class action lawsuit. I don't even know how much worse it could get with this rabbit hole. Like, part 2 might just prove PayPal Honey was trying to cast the infinite Tsukiyomi and trap everyone on Earth into a Genjutsu where we just keep fucking giving them affiliate commissions or something. Like, I do not know what else could possibly come out from Honey. Lord help us, part 3 from the investigation might just conclude and prove that PayPal Honey was trying to quantumly inject microchips into our brains or something. It really is, like, it's fascinating just how bad this company is. That one part of a 3-part investigation was enough to lead to a class action lawsuit against them. And it's not a frivolous lawsuit either. There's not really any question of whether or not Honey was engaging in taking affiliate commissions. They openly confirmed with Megalag that, like, they acknowledge that, yes, we will sometimes be the last click and get that affiliate commission. They openly say that. So that's not even what's called into question. It's more so now, is it fully illegal? And in my moron eyes, like my idiot vision, I think it has to be, right? Like, I talked about it a bit on stream last night. I'll show you some clips there. But I think it is the textbook definition of cookie stuffing, which does have a legal precedent set that it's wire fraud. Now, I think there's been a little confusion on exactly how big of a scam this is, so I'm going to try and break it down into even simpler terms. A lot of people are under the impression that the only people affected are those that promoted Honey. Like, who cares about influencers that lost money, through commissions and stuff? That's not the actual scope of it. Even setting aside the blatant false advertising where Honey claims it gets you the best coupons available, which is proven to be untrue. In fact, they hide the best coupons from you because they work with the companies directly to give you what coupons they want you to have access to. So they'll give you like a 5% coupon even though you could find a 20% one on your own. Honey tells you that doesn't exist, there's only this 5%. Setting that aside, which directly hurts the people that use Honey, setting that aside, the affiliate theft, the what I believe to be cookie stuffing, it comes from people no matter what their familiarity is with Honey. So let's say your grandmother, this is the example I've been giving on stream to try and help explain it. Let's say your grandmother on Facebook, she has an affiliate link to baking supplies, Tupperware. She has an affiliate link for Tupperware, and she shares that on her Facebook page, and you, being the good grandson you are, want to support her and give her a little commission, and you could use the Tupperware. So you click her affiliate link, you go to the Tupperware, as you're checking out, Honey pops up and says, do you want to check for coupons? And you click, sure, I might as well. So you click that, it finds no coupons, you close it, and then you finish your checkout. Well, what happened is, when you click that from Honey, Honey took the affiliate commission. So your grandmother got nothing, and she'll never even know you clicked that affiliate link. Honey got the whole thing, because Honey is a brand partner of that Tupperware, not the grandmother with the affiliate link. Thus, when Honey poached the affiliate commission, they got all of the money, not your grandmother, even though it was your grandmother's link that brought the sale to the Tupperware. But that company will never know that it was the grandmother's link that did it. They will just see that it was Honey that got the last click. Thus, they have to pay out the commission to Honey. That's what's going on. Your grandmother had never heard of Honey. She never promoted Honey, but you had it because maybe your favorite YouTuber talked about it, or maybe you just happened to see all the advertisements elsewhere for it. That's the actual spaghetti and meatballs of it. It's not just people that promoted the Honey, getting butt fucked or anything. It's anyone that has Honey and then tries to click an affiliate link. Honey will take it, even if that affiliate link came from someone that knows nothing about Honey. And another good thing that was pointed out in Megalag's video, even when Honey provides no value at all, where you're in checkout and Honey says, hey, just popping up to let you know, didn't find anything. Like, even if you don't click anything, it just pops up and says, hey, I'm here, I got nothing for you, and you click, to exit out, you click got it to get rid of it. You clicking got it, even though it came up and said, hey, we didn't find anything, we're not even trying to find it, there's nothing here for us, even though it did actually nothing, you just clicking got it will take the affiliate commission. And the person who had the affiliate link will never know that that even happened. Another big question is, well, how did people not know they were missing out on money? How did they not know they weren't getting paid? That's how, because you never even knew it was happening, because someone just having Honey took the whole commission, so you never saw any of it. I think for a lot of people there was a misunderstanding that people were getting paid by Honey, and they didn't understand how people didn't recognize they were just missing payments from Honey. Like, how could you possibly ignore that? No, that's not the case. Anyone that had Honey installed and engaged in clicking an affiliate link, that commission never made it to whoever the affiliate was. Honey would take it. So the actual affiliate would never even know that it happened, which is why it was impossible to ever even find out. That's what made it so slippery and so sneaky. And that's also why it's nearly impossible to know just how much money was lost this way, and why it's likely into the deep millions upon millions of dollars. Which is why I think this class action lawsuit could be huge. Of course, I'm not a lawyer, I didn't pass the bar, I don't know for sure, but it seems like there is so much money that was likely lost from this because of PayPal Honey stealing the affiliate commissions. Now, the next question a lot of people ask is, did PayPal know? PayPal purchased Honey for $4 billion. You bet your sweet bippy they knew. I've been flip-flopping on this back and forth, but for a $4 billion purchase, I think they would have audited the shit out of that company. I think they would have absolutely known that this was like their bread and butter. Because how else are they making money? Like, really, how else are they making money when you really stop to think about it? Markiplier pinned the tail on the donkey. His gut was absolutely right. Like, PayPal would have had to have known that when they purchased this company. I think it's now just a matter of, did PayPal know that it might be illegal? Did they knowingly spend $4 billion on illegal business practices, which would be mind-boggling if that is the case, if the answer is yes to that question. So I'm very interested to see where this class action goes. But anyway, I want to show you some of the clips from the stream because we dove into their terms of service. Honey actually is so fucking scummy that they snuck some shit into their terms of service, which of course nobody's reading. Everyone knows no one reads the terms of service. Even the law knows no one is actually sitting through and reading through every single fucking term of service for the things they sign up for. But Honey knew that and snuck some shit in there to try and cover their own ass. Like I said after the initial part 1 of the investigation, this is going to be a huge class action. There is unironically millions of dollars that were probably lost along the way for a lot of different people. So I'm very curious to see just how big it gets. I think it's almost billions of dollars lost. I've got to stop the music for that. Okay, it's going to be a lot of money, but billions? Is Honey even worth billions? PayPal paid $4 billion for it. I got to stop the music for this. Did you know Honey's terms of service make it so you can't sue them with a class action? I'm going to look that up myself right now. I don't believe you. But no one ever reads the terms of service. But I imagine Legal Eagle would have before the class action. Let's see. Let's look at the Join Honey terms of use. Though I don't think you... Let's just assume it's there for a second. Does that protect you? Would that even actually protect you? I don't think so. Wasn't there a ruling not too long ago that said, like, no one reads the terms of service, so you really can't put in legally binding shit like that? I vaguely recall that being a actual court ruling. This agreement contains 1. An arbitration provision, 2. A waiver of rights to bring a class action lawsuit against us, and 3. A release by you of claims for damage against us that may arise out of your use of the service to the greatest extent permitted by applicable law. By using the service, you agree to these provisions. Their lawyers are good. They've got the Sharingan out. How could they have seen the potential class action coming? They stopped us before we even started. I wonder how far by applicable law goes. There's no way that's going to actually protect them. You can't just say, like, you can't sue us and then do blatantly illegal shit. That's not how that works. Arbitration clause and class action waiver. Important. Please review as this affects your legal rights. In caps lock. Oh man, yeah, this seems like panic. Arbitration. You agree that all disputes between you and us, whether or not such dispute involves a third party with regard to your relationship with us, including without limitation dispute related to this agreement, your use of the service and or rights of privacy and or publicity, will be resolved by binding individual arbitration under the American Arbitration Association's rules for arbitration of consumer-related disputes, and you and we hereby expressly waive trial by jury. Why would you want that? I'm sure the jury would side with you guys. I don't know why it's screaming at me, though. Oh, wait. Here comes a threat of their own. Provided, however, that to the extent that you may have... Provided, however, that to the extent that you have in any manner violated or threatened to violate our intellectual property rights, we may seek injunctive or other appropriate relief in any state or federal court in the state of California. Discovery and rights to appeal and arbitration are generally more limited than in a lawsuit, and other rights that you and we would have in court may not be available in arbitration. Now they're tossing their big meat around. That's interesting. I've heard that too. Someone in Legal Eagle's comments brought up that what Honey did could be considered cookie stuffing, which is a form of wire fraud, and that there's legal precedent for it. I've heard that a couple times. I might as well look at it before hopping onto Rivals to start my Grandmaster climb. So cookie stuffing is legitimately a real term. It is a real thing that they have cracked down on. Deceptive tactic in affiliate marketing. It is considered fraudulent. But what is the legal precedent? Because I think it is the textbook definition of cookie stuffing what Honey was doing. So it's been considered a form of wire fraud, and in 2006, eBay collaborated with the Federal Bureau of Investigation in a sting operation targeting top affiliate marketers. So it looks like in 2006 there was a big case with it. Sean Hogan, eBay's largest affiliate marketer, was found to have engaged in cookie stuffing. His strategy involved modifying his website to load resources from eBay servers, thereby setting affiliate cookies on users' browsers. The technique falsely attributed subsequent eBay purchases to Hogan's site. Despite Hogan making over $28 million through eBay's affiliate commissions, it was determined that Hogan's activities did not contribute any substantial revenue to eBay. In the subsequent legal proceedings, Hogan pleaded guilty to a single wire fraud charge, leading to a 5-month federal prison sentence and a $25,000 fine. Okay, he got off pretty easy. There's another case as well. Also, eBay affiliate marketing, Brian Dunning. Similar tactics with cookie stuffing during 2006 to 2007. So there is a legal precedent set. They don't like it, but it's not harshly punished either. How interesting. Like I said, this should be a slam dunk case. I really think it should be pretty open and shut. They have a ton of money though, so it'll probably get hairy. You should go to law school, you'd be good at it. Brother, I'm a fucking moron. Why would you think I'd be good at that?